I got Trevor here. That's great.
And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Trevor, to the Wednesday night live chat. And I'm probably the only one on a Wednesday you'd recognize. My colleagues are all very busy tonight. Jay is working, and Alex is traveling, and Sam is on a top secret government mission. So I was flying solo, and I thought I would recruit some heavy hitters here tonight. So
that's right.
Going around the horn, John from Music Talk with John.
Hello.
Folks may not recognize him because he's not out walking the badlands of Florida. He's actually sitting in his house.
Yeah.
We have Racer Joe from the province of Canada that is so exciting it looks like it is a postage stamp.
Look, it's
Racer Joe.
Hard to spell, easy to draw, as we say.
Correct. We have the founder of the Violent Community Podcast, my buddy, your buddy, everybody's buddy, Concert Buddy, and a special first-time guest waiting in the wings.
Oh, man, what a debut.
Stylus Meets Vinyl making his YouTube live stream debut. How you doing?
Wow. This guy.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
What's up?
Good.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
And you and I have been wanting to do one of these for ages, right? So I'm thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, go ahead.
I just had to pull myself away from the Leafs game, you know?
What's the score? Not that I care.
Nothing right now.
All right. My team's out of it, so we won't mention I'm a Habs fan. So before we get started, since this is Chris's live stream debut, I'm going to share a little story for those that probably don't know, because I don't know that I've ever told the story before. Chris is the reason that I do YouTube. Chris is the guy that convinced me to do YouTube.
Oh, thanks a lot, Chris.
So this is who we can blame. Okay.
Right. Chris is who you got to blame.
So beer down there. Where is he?
Yeah, just pour the beer on him.
Figure out the right direction to put. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Chris and I go back. I've been doing YouTube now 2 years. And Chris and I go back probably like 2.5 years. He lives about 5 hours north of me in Ontario. And we were both part of a Facebook group called the Ontario Record Collectors. And people would post stuff, you know, what they're listening to, what they bought, whatever. And I'd been thinking about doing YouTube for a while. And then I chickened out because I'm like, no one's going to give a shit what I have to say. Because generally no one gives a shit what I have to say. And so one day Chris posted on the Ontario Record Collectors a link to his first YouTube video. And then he started a vinyl community channel. And I commented, I said it was great. And I'd been thinking of doing it, but I'm not going to bother. And Chris said you should do it anyway because I would watch it. And so I did it. And here we are 2.5 years later. So thank you, Chris.
You're a powerhouse now, Rob.
Wow.
Chris is what you get for talking to strangers on the internet. Now you're on a live stream.
Yeah. I didn't listen to my parents, you know.
Yeah.
Strangers.
Don't take the candy and the weird windowless van either. I think that's the other.
I think
now Chris can brag to all his friends. I was live on YouTube last night, and they all look at you and go, "You're a nerd." At least that's what they do to me. So you know, whatever. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody good? Everybody survive Record Store Day?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had a good time.
Yeah. Did everybody do Record Store Day?
Yeah.
Nope.
Me neither.
No.
I should get my VC card revoked. I didn't participate.
Is that because there wasn't much up in your neck of the woods, or there was just nothing you're interested in?
I was actually surprised. I have one record store up here, and I wasn't expecting that they would have anything. And then, like the day before, I saw them post on Facebook of like, "Oh, like we've got our record store stuff." But it's kind of like I've seen your videos, Rob, about Record Store Day. Is like you're not a morning person. You don't like waking up early like that. I kind of, unless there's something really, really that's kind of I need to get. I don't pay too much attention to it. I probably should though.
Well, I mean, it's I think there's kind of there's those that do and those that don't, and I'm in the generally I'm kind of like you, unless there's something I really want. And this year I can honestly say there was absolutely nothing on the list that I'm like, I gotta have that. So
they had your group was one of the live was Canadian group. They had a live album this year.
Blue Rodeo?
No,
I'm not a hip fan.
Huh?
I'm not a which should automatically disqualify me for Canadian citizenship, but I'm not a fan of the hip. So
oh, okay.
They were the Canadian ambassadors as well this year.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, okay. They were. So that's
why it tells you how out of touch I am with record stores.
Wow, they're gonna deport you tomorrow, Rob. Yeah. This is a mistake.
I'm gonna get deported. And I'm going to lose my VC membership. Chance is going to kick me off the podcast. And it's just like, I'll just, be sitting here next week crying in my basement.
You're just going to walk around aimlessly with spoiled milk like Ron Burgundy in a summer day. Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah. Well, I got to see kind of like the inside behind the scenes at two stores, obviously always at Kingfish. So, and that was fun. The first
Those videos are great.
We have a great time. We were exhausted because all those boxes you saw on the table, we had to load up ourselves from the back room because it's a small store, so we can't keep them out there. So and Rick's he has a bad back already, so we're loading them up and everything, sweating, wiping ourselves off. Okay, let's get in a good mood and film a video. It was awesome. And then when that was done, we had to haul all the boxes back and bring the next load up. So.
Well, you would have had a nice shine on you by the time you got everything loaded up.
Sure, I'd like to get. That's why we were like saying some crazy shit at the end of that. But it's kind of cool to see the behind the scenes, how they order, how they try to feel out what people are going to want. Today they had a whole bunch of Ringos left over, a couple Mingus. So it's kind of interesting.
Let me ask you this, because it's going to lead into something I was reading the other day. How was their experience with ordering? Did they get all their stuff on time? Everything was good?
Yeah, they got them on time. And there's another record store in Dunedin, D&J Records, that I was a part of, and it appears that they got everything on time. There was a last minute cancellation of Jimmy Cliff, I think, reggae guy. He had a live album and that got canceled last minute, but that was everybody. So as far as those two stores, I think they got everything on time to get it loaded up. Yeah.
I was curious because my favorite store that I go to is about 45 minutes away. It's in, not that anyone cares, it's in Dundas, Ontario. It's called Records on Wheels. Mm-hmm. And Mike, who's the owner, was posting, he ordered Record Store Day stuff from 6 different vendors, I believe.
That's a lot.
5 of them went flawlessly. And the biggest order was from Universal Music Canada. And he goes, it was an absolute nightmare. It was like a $10,000 order. He got nothing.
Oh,
wow.
Literally. And that also included Taylor's album, which came out the day before. Didn't get that on time either. And he actually posted all of the emails from his Universal Music rep. And it was just excuse after excuse. Oh, it's shipping today. Oh, sorry, we couldn't get it out today. We'll overnight it tomorrow. Oh, there was a problem. We were still waiting on. And he was just absolutely frustrated beyond belief that his biggest Record Store Day order. And this isn't a small record store. He's a pretty big record store, and he's been in business for 40 years. So it's not like it's a mom and pop that just popped up out of nowhere. And unfortunately, Universal Music did him dirty. I didn't know if that was a common.
It happens. I mean, I know it happens. I mean, it happens almost like weekly when we get our orders in. I say we, like I'm part of this record store now. But when they get them in, I feel like I am. I'm like a.
Well, the groupies are part of the band, right? So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and there was something that happened the other day. I said I quit, and they're like, it's like Kramer. You don't even work here. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I don't work here. But
that's what
but you see that, yeah, you see that where like the certain title's supposed to come in, a new release, and it just doesn't even show up. You know where it's going? It's all going to the end groove. That's where everything's going. He's like a vacuum. He's sucking all the albums that way.
He had a lot of stuff going on. That's for sure. I watched a little bit. Well, actually, I didn't watch it live. I watched it later, and right where the camera was situated, the one takeaway, because there was him and there was another store as well that had a stack of the Eric Carr, the latest one, not the purple box one. I don't know if I saw one sell. And then even at the other store, the same thing, didn't go over at all. I've got the first one that they did, where it's the picture disc that kind of looks like the rest of the faces and stuff like that. But this latest iteration, Mike's got 8 or 10 of them still sitting. They were there all day, and he filmed for 11 hours. And I kind of fast forwarded, and I don't know if I saw one go, probably 1 or 2 maybe, but yeah, it was few and far between. And then,
but it had a USB port.
So the eyes can glow in the dark.
Right. I mean, let's just drop $200 because it has a USB port. I mean, this speaks to the I wouldn't say laziness, but just the lack of imagination. This is now the 3rd straight Record Store Day event where they've had like an Eric Carr piece. First it was the album that people wanted, right? And they did it in the style of the 78 covers. Then they came back with that one, right? And so then the first one, then they followed up with that as a picture disc, which whole 2 people asked for. And then now they've come back with this giant box with the USB port, $150 price tag, and light up eyes. Stop. It's enough. Stop. We don't want any more Eric Carr, anything. Let's take a break, please.
There will be plenty available in the used market yesterday already. So
they only had, I think, 3 or 4 copies of that and the Ace Frehley, and so whoever was buying the Eric Carr bought the Ace Frehley. Sure. But in my area, there's a lot. I think probably a good amount of Kiss fans, so those went. But they only had 3 or 4, so they were gone pretty quickly. But
look who's joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Safe and sound vaginal audio excursion. I love that. I hope Vaginal joins us at some point.
No, well, if you throw out the link, I'm sure he will. He seems to love live streams, so I think I think that's like it's like flies on shit. I think if you throw a link out, he made to show up. Just saying.
Exactly. The voice of Honey on the podcast, as far as I'm concerned.
That's awesome.
So I have a question for like the guys who really have a lot of experience with Record Store Day, like Concert Buddy, John, I imagine, Racer Joe. I'm not too sure about you, but what do you guys think if you could improve Record Store Day? Like, if there's one thing to do, is it like a more like a tighter, smaller selection of records, or is it just getting rid of those kitschy kind of cash grabs and like weird picture discs? Like what would it be?
Yeah, I have one small one. I know Chance has a bunch, but mine's the big thing is 2, I guess. Get rid of picture discs and quality. Here we go. Quality control is, as far as like releasing this Doors crap that sounds horrible, at least let people know it's going to sound horrible without us having to review it in the vinyl community and let people know. I have an Art Blakey from last year. I love it because all you can hear is his drums and not the rest of the band, but at least I get to hear his drums. That was kind of cool. So that quality control, as far as, selling an album for $50, $45, and it's sounding like, somebody was there with a cassette player recording it. It's not cool, so those are my 2. We'll let Concert Buddy put on his glove and
listen, John, you took the words out of my mouth. The quality control issues are not just limited to Record Store Day. Any kind of new vinyl, I mean, you got to pray. It used to be you pray you didn't get seam splits, right? Now you got to pray you don't get a warped record. And they just don't care. They really don't care. I mean, you watch the videos, Chad Kassem, if you don't like it, return it. Hey, cool. But, like, how about we get it right in the first place? Or at least get closer to the plan, right? But, so to me, quality control should be understood. But, no, I think to answer your question, Chris, I'd say that I wouldn't narrow the selection because there's things that, quite frankly, are outside of my zone that people love. And so I think from a curation perspective, outside of like going to the Eric Carr well too many times, besides being lazy and just taking a lot of, they do a lot of live performances, tying to John's point that maybe audio wise shouldn't be put on vinyl, but they do it anyways, like a gimmick, like Art Blakey, or, I've heard this Talking Heads thing that they just did that was sold out everywhere. Apparently it's not great quality. Again, this is just what I read online. So I if they could avoid the gimmicky stuff, I think, and the picture disc, literally no one is asking for picture disc. And if they are, they won't. I mean, they're not saying it publicly. It may be just like a, like a Trump voter. They don't want other people to know that that's the way they voted. But once you go into bed, same thing. Picture disc. Once you go to the store, if no one's around, they're putting those Cure picture discs under their arms, and
the Cure, yeah,
right. I mean, nobody's asking. People are asking for Cure issues. Yes, no one is asking for a Cure issue on a picture disc. So that kind of stuff, And again, I don't know who makes those decisions. It could be something that's way outside of our lanes as consumers, like a licensing thing. It's easier to license, put it on a picture disc versus doing the full jacket. It could be a price thing, right? Like, why do a gatefold 3-discer when you can just do a picture disc? You know what I mean? So I again, there's a lot of inside baseball I'm sure we're not privy to, but just as a consumer, less gimmicks. What was it saying? More killer, less filler. I mean, it's that kind of stuff. And there's so many things that I'm sure we could go around for a long show and talk about. Man, vinyl me please, like press me please, right? Like things that would love to see on vinyl, and they do a pretty good job. I mean, there's things I'm sure you guys can attest that they come out with on Record Store Day that I may not know about, but then I hear through word of mouth or post haste, like, man, I can't believe they finally did this, and then that kind of piques my interest. Like there was the one this time, Malfunction. I didn't even know about this. It was the singer in Pearl Jam, before it's Pearl Jam, was a guy named Andy Wood, passed away. They were the band Mother Love Bone, right? So this band, Malfunction, was Andy Wood's high school band. So not knowing the backstory, I just see Malfunction spelled real weird on the list. I'm like, no, that's not for me. But then I hear people talk about it. Like Aaron Muth Alamero was a big one. Robert Fithen, when I saw him at Record Store Day, the same thing. And I was like, okay, those are people that I can trust the story and I can trust what they're talking about. So if I'm of the financial disposition, I'll take a flyer, and I'm glad I did. I put it on, and it's not audiophile quality, right? But you turn it up and it sounds good, and it's a cool piece to have. So yeah, I don't know, but that's kind of the good and the bad of Record Store Day, because I wouldn't have bought that without knowing, and then through the community I hear a little bit about it, and then but again, that's all. It's a slippery slope, right, guys? Like it's you want to take what feedback you're hearing in the community and take it as gospel, but how many? I mean, I'm not even going to talk about the jazz thing. I've got more jazz records than I could have it for a lifetime. And so,
I didn't buy any. I didn't buy any this time.
Well, I only bought one. I'm on a jazz. I'm leaving the format. So,
what?
No, not entirely. But in terms of like, the latest releases or the newest series, like I'm very selective. The only one I got was the Bill Evans. Like I was very disciplined. Only Bill Evans, no more. So I didn't need Cannonball Adderley live from a bathroom. I didn't need, you know what I mean? Like Bill Evans from a 7-Eleven. Like I didn't need any
right. Yeah, Chet Baker with no teeth. Yeah, all
right. Yeah. Chet Baker gums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But thing could be a bit of an offshoot of the the picture disc thing could be a little bit of an offshoot of the Taylor Swift phenomenon, or whatever you want to call it. The fact that so many of those get bought just to look at. So maybe that is possibly, we got to put some picture discs out there because we got to sell to those kids that aren't going to listen to it anyway. But we got to get their picture on something. But it's not necessarily the albums that are picture discs are not necessarily the ones where those collectors would be buying them. So my point is a bit moot, I guess, but maybe that's a little bit part of it. And I didn't mean to cut you off, John.
No, but this year, to that point, John, is Fleetwood Mac Rumors on a picture disc. How many people were asking for that? One of the most pressed and repressed albums of all time. And again, if you love it, like my wife loves Mac, loves Stevie, so she got it. So for that person, it makes sense. But for somebody who
I love it and still didn't buy it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I don't even know how many they made, but to that point, like it's complete gimmick, right? And it's only niche. So less of that. I'm not saying get rid of picture disc. I'm just saying less of that. How about 1,000 of those? Because that's probably a good number. I don't know, 2,000, and then more of what was the one? These are gimmick ones, but like the South Park one that you can't find anywhere else, or the
Ollie Shore. Ollie Shore.
Well, I got one. Yeah, I got.
Did you get Ollie Shore?
Yeah, that was one of those ones where I was there, and I was like, well,
Well, we still have 2 copies at the store, so if you want one.
It's actually, John, you're gonna laugh at me. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Well, there's 2 videos on YouTube, and I was like, "What the hell?" The band is really good.
The band is good. It's a bunch of old dudes and Paulie, and they're doing covers. And it's, I mean, the question is, when are you going to play this? Like, I played it because I bought it, but honestly, like, I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day after Record Store Day for me. But
yeah, Mazzy comes to the house, and you're like, "You got to hear this Pauly Shore. You got to check this out."
well, it's funny. That's actually funny, John. I may bring that to Seattle when I see him at the end of the month and be like, hey, you taking requests? Can you whack this mole?
Yeah, there you go. We'll see how good this sounds on your system.
I will say our friend Safe and Sound Vaginal Audio Excursion is right. That David Byrne was another one that, because that one hits both heads. It hits the Talking Heads fans because of the A side, and then the B side was Paramore doing, I think, Burning It on the House. It was a class. So now you've got young and old. Make more of that. That's perfect. Please. Anyway, sorry. End of rant. I need to get the fire extinguisher.
I think the burning question, pun intended, is when are those oven mitts going to be for sale in the merch store? Because
Rob, it's funny you said that.
Here we go.
No. I'm not telling. No, the next one, I'll just break it here. The next one we're going to have is a bathroom candle. We're going to have one of those small prayer candles because, listen, I don't know about you guys. When you stink up the bathroom, you need immediate resolution. And so you need one of them stinking candles. And so we're going to have a Concert Buddy bathroom candle. It's coming. Not for sale.
Like the ones you see at the record stores with Jimi Hendrix and all that.
It's like Snoop Dogg sleeping, except it's going to be like the continent.
That's such a big deal. I got to give you one of these.
Oh, now you're doing
that sounds like me in the bathroom. That's perfect.
So, Chris, are you glad that you joined us?
Yes.
Chris is like, what the hell am I doing? Wasting my time doing this.
Yeah. Now, Chris, you're opening a record store? Is that what it was?
No, Joe is.
Yeah. Oh, Joe. Yeah. Oh, Joe. Oh, that's right. Because you're teaming up with that guy. That's right. I remember that. Okay.
For those that haven't watched that episode, or it's going to be on the podcast at some point in the very near future, but tell us about your record store, Joe. That's a big deal.
Yeah, well,
good video.
The quick version is I retired a couple years ago. They kind of dragged me back a little bit to the store. Off the cuff one day, I said to my boss, the owner, hey, we should go half on this record collection I was thinking about. And he agreed. And then it turned into a store, and I ordered 50 new discs today to be coming in next week. And we've got I've been putting them all. I've been using Discogs to catalog it so that I have an idea of what we've got. I'm at 2,699 in the system as of right now, and I started about 2 weeks ago. So it's been fun. It's been great, and we'll see. There's not a lot of competition up here for new stuff, and I certainly don't want to try and compete heavily in some of the other places. It's not that it's not a money-making venture for us. We're an audio video store, so it's kind of a section of the audio video store to bring people in to buy the speakers and the turntables and the amplifiers, and to sell some records in that as well. So just trying to get that all together, get it up and running, hopefully by the end of the month. Got the bins getting made, and like I said, I've got them all in, and I've been cleaning. I've cleaned about 1,000 records in the last week with an ultrasonic and a little bit of spin clean as well. So it's been fun. I'm not sure if your definition and my definition of fun are the same, but it's been fun. So
it probably is. But are you going to do a video on that? Because I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I am. I've got. I started up its own YouTube channel, but I'll probably cross post some stuff so that it's got its own. Because it's. To the general world, it's not going to be, it's not really going to be anything. I guess we all watch Mike's in Groove channel, and I don't necessarily get to Phoenix that often, so maybe I'll still do something on there. But I'm going to kind of have my act like an idiot, do my Fast Five thing on one side of the world, and then the store on its own, and the two may cross every once in a while, but.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that's also big. That's also big news. It deserves one of these.
Oh, perfect.
Joe, when you get records in for your shop, are you going to play and then grade all of them, or are you going to visually grade them?
I've visually graded everything, because like I said, I'm actually cleaning every single one up to the down to, we'll call it, to the $5 ones. So anything that I'm going to charge $5 or above, I'm taking them out. I'm putting them through the ultrasonic and or through the spin clean, depending on what they need. Anything $3 and or, you know, buy 5, get them $2 a piece or whatever, I'm not going to. But and then there are some that I will play grade as well. We're going to offer a money back guarantee to a certain extent. I don't know how that's going to go, because I don't know how that works in the used vinyl world. We'll see how much of a hassle that becomes, if it in fact becomes a hassle. So, you know, if someone takes something home and they don't like the way it sounds, they can bring it back.
That's cool. Do you think you'll ever get to might participate in Record Store way down the road, or are you just gonna Record Store Day?
Yeah,
or you just kind of stay. Yeah.
No, I think so. And then, you know, not to use the other channel that gets mentioned all the time, but Dylan, you know, he bought a bunch of Record Store Day, but not a whole bunch of Record Store Day. At least what he showed, it was a very curated collection for what he thought would be coming in, I guess, to his store. He didn't buy a whole bunch of things, and I'll probably run that the same way. Again, there's one good store that gets, we'll call it everything in here. There's a couple of Sunrise Records, which is what HMV turned into in Canada. So they've got a pretty decent selection. And really, other than London Drugs, which is kind of, you know, it's a drugstore that sells everything, they've got a little bit of new. There's not a lot of new around here, but I don't want to necessarily take away from the young guy, because he just took it over from a gentleman that ran a store here in town for 30 years. Dave was his name, and X-Ray Records. And, you know, he did a really, really good job. He was so super knowledgeable, and he passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. And there's a young guy that's kind of taken over a pared down version of it. And, you know, I don't plan to compete with that, but I also want to have some stuff in stock that if people are coming in and looking for used, they can buy some new, or vice versa. They come looking for new, they can buy some used, or in the end, they come in, they buy some speakers and some turntables and some amplifiers and the rest of it as well. So this is all on paper, because none of it's actually up and running yet. But I guess ask me in a month how it's going. I don't have any hair to lose, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You'll pull it out of your ears. That's where you're going to pull it out of when you get stressed.
Yeah, yikes. But it's been awesome. Rob and I had a conversation about it.
It's a good video.
A lot of us would love to do it. I've just been thankfully very lucky to be able to try and do it. We'll see. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm not as involved. I'm not doing what you're doing, but it is fun when I get to go in that record store and just act like I live there. You know, it's such a cool experience.
That's the perk of being a world famous YouTuber.
Well, yeah, walking around gets you somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, they even took one of my ideas to put the records in a place where people could actually get to them, not be crowded in. They actually took that idea and it worked really well. So it's kind of cool to give some input that works and helps the store kind of in a way too, because you know you want this place to survive. You know.
Well, Joe raised an interesting point. I don't know if you guys have caught this too. We talked about it on Surface Noise last week or Sunday. So like Dylan and I like these guys. So I'm not. This isn't negative. It's something I noticed. But to be and John probably knows this. Like to be a participant in Record Store Day, you have to like sign a pledge. You have to say like the store has to commit to the bylaws of don't sell things early, don't put things online until all those things, right?
Yep.
But like, I know Dylan's not a participating store. I know Too Many Records isn't a participating store. I know Record Safari, right? But then at the last minute, they, to Joe's point, exactly what he said, right the day before, hey, we've got some Record Store Day titles, come see us. I find it interesting, and Arnaldo made a good point, because at first I was like, oh, is this like influencers like bending the rules? But Arnaldo was like, well, that's because they already have relationships with these distributors. The distributors are probably like, hey, anything you want for Record Store Day. So I'm not saying they need to close that loophole, but I find it interesting that, and it's not just them, I'm sure it's other people, right? And again, not being negative, just an observation.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? Like these other stores like Kingfish or Riverbend or whoever, they've got to thaw through all the rules. And at the last minute, you know, like, oh, hey, you want some? Here's, you know, it's like the dealer. Hey, you want some? I've got some extra talking heads.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting how that works.
All power to them, and I'm glad it helps their business. And it's not a knock, but I do think that, for the folks that have to, because those people, the stores that do it year after year, they commit to it, they set up the events, all that stuff. I do feel that they do really play by the rules, and good for the distributors getting rid of the product. Like, I'm not saying it's a negative thing. It was an observation of, well, hang on, you're not an official store, but you have the official product. So I don't know. It struck me as interesting. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder how that does work.
Well, we'll come back in a year and we'll talk about it, how it went.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in 6 months for Black Friday.
Well, there's Black Friday as well. So that, and because again, I mean, obviously, I want to participate. Sure. And I want to be fair, right? I mean, the whole, you're not open till 8 o'clock. You can't sell stuff beforehand, anything like that. I'm not sure of all the rest of the stipulations, because really, I just started talking to distribution a couple of weeks ago. So I was never going to be ready for this weekend anyway. So I don't know what hoops I have to jump through. Now, I just went and looked like that on my distributor. There's none left, but that Fleetwood Mac picture disc is on there. So it's not that I couldn't go and get it if I wanted to, but I didn't know if you have to buy minimums. I don't know any of that stuff. So
that's a real shame that there's none left. Damn.
Yeah, sorry, I could have got you one, but there's none.
There's also the game. That's not even a game, but right. Go back to the distributors. You have stores, because I think the last count there's 1,800, at least in the States, independent record stores. Some of these titles there's only 1,100 issued, 1,500 issued. So then you play the allocation game. Like Gandalf is a perfect example. The number was 1,500 that they quoted. It's on the hype sticker, all that stuff. Just doing the math. I'll have the Alfredo, and we can do the math later, but 1,800 is more than 1,500. So you're just thinking, just pure numbers. There's probably going to be an allocation. There's probably going to be, obviously, some stores shut out. And then I saw that, and again, not knocking him. I like Lance at Permanent Records. He had 30 copies, and he's not an official record store. So you know what I mean? So meanwhile, like one of my locals only got 2 copies. So I find it interesting, however they make those decisions, because it was a very popular record. It's not everywhere. And, Lance, again, I like Lance. He's a Mizzou guy. No knocking him. But I heard he had 30 copies of a 1,500 I
don't hold a lot of stock in those 1,500. I think they just put that.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Those numbers, and maybe that's another day. Yeah,
1,500 is probably more like 15,000.
Now, was it a popular title, or do you think just a lot of stores didn't order that in general? Well, I guess across the board, though, still 1,500 copies.
I mean, yeah, even if you think like, if somebody doesn't, if I'm a record store owner and I don't even know what that is, I'll just order one. You know what I mean? Like, especially on Record Store Day, I take a flyer because I probably will. And if I don't, then it's just one piece. It's not like I'm ordering 10 or 20 or whatever. Yeah. But then you have the people who know it's going to be a winner. I'd be very curious with Esposito because I'm sure he knew it was going to be a popular title, and it's got all the marketing things. Kevin Gray, analog tapes, so it's hitting all those boxes, and people who had never even heard of it before, like, come to Papa. So.
You go into every independent store, though, and there's always the Tub Record Store Day previous from 2023 and 2022, and there's always those. So, it's a necessary. I was going to say a necessary evil. It's not an evil. That's not it. I don't know if they've refined it enough yet. I guess everybody's just so hyped and excited about it, buyers and sellers, that it's just kind of Wild West still for right now. And whether that will ever change, who knows? But it'll be interesting.
I think anything that can drive foot traffic to the stores is good, right? And even if I will say this, the only negative, I mean, the flipping, I really don't have an issue with. My wife, we were in line. My wife was watching these guys loiter for 25 minutes, and she's like
grabbing that Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah. Well, this particular group this time was like 4 guys. And they're just having a good time. Took them 25 minutes to go through, let's call it 5 bins. And they're like looking at them. They're scanning them on Discogs. I mean, they're just, Yeah. And so,
But they only get 1 pick a piece, right?
Yeah. The store is limited. Right. But they're probably talking to each other like, hey, if I grab this one, you know what I mean? So, but regardless, that I mean, it sucks, but it's like Joe said, it's just part of it. But for the people who like, that's a great point, John, about Olivia Rodrigo. There were some people behind me in line. It was a younger lady, and I'm assuming her daughter or child. We were in line for 2.5 hours. Finally get up there. They're out of that 45, and that's all they wanted. And so stinks for them. They, again, you should have got there earlier, all that stuff. But then you also think, clearly they're not the traditional record store consumer.
Right.
Will this sour their opinion of records, the hobby, that store, etc.? Because they spent 2.5 hours in line just like us. And the one thing, and they weren't like, in that store, I was stubborn. They didn't have anything I wanted. I'm like, I'm buying this and I'm going to flip this stupid Weekend record. I was pissed. I'm like, all those, you know what I mean? That was just me being stubborn. But them, who, again, you don't know their vinyl journey, and you don't know, like, would this potentially sour them on the experience? You know what I mean? So that was something I seeing it firsthand. I was like, wow, I guess this, because I'm the guy who lines up early. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't affect me so much, and I go to record stores regularly. But for that once, twice, 3 times a year person, or somebody new, like I think that lady and her child were, it would be a real shame if like that experience soured them on continuing.
Yeah. And I've done that while being kind of behind the scenes and able to talk to some of those. And in the past, I've been able to kind of talk to them in line because I see them coming late. Like I go, they already know. So I kind of pull them off. I talk to the parents, and I've actually kind of told them how it works. Say, hey, yeah, there was somebody here, at 10 o'clock the previous night. Waiting. So that's how this event happens. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get that album, and they don't understand that. They just think it's a release. They don't understand.
They saw it on the news or online, and they're like, "Oh, great!" Like the new. What was the one? Rob will know this. The Long Pond Sessions, the one that the Taylor from like 2 years ago or whatever.
Last year.
That sounds familiar.
Thanks to John, I have it because my local didn't have it, and John texted me that morning. They got it, and thank you again, John. I listen to that all the time, man.
Yep.
But for something like that, right? Like, because I was at the record store, I was at an out of town one, and there was a lot of people that I have a feeling weren't back this year. You know what I mean? And they had their Swiftie jackets and what have you, and they were there implicitly for that release. More power to them, and I'm a big fan of, what she's done for Record Store Day and all that kind of stuff. But again, if the people who had been in line and waited and didn't know how to play the game like that, and then they left empty-handed, I mean, that's got to be a buzzkill. But
I saw the opposite somewhat of that. I was in talking to my buddy in a store that he works in on Friday, and of course Taylor's came out that day. Right. And this dad and his 2 little girls, I don't know, 8 and 12, something like that, walk in. There's a couple people in front, and I'm just kind of standing there talking to my buddy. And the dad, and I hear the little girl goes, "We should get Taylor Swift while we're here, Dad." Like, no idea what's going on. And Dad goes, "Oh, I phoned earlier. They don't have it. They're all out of it." And you can kind of see a little bit of the dejection in their faces, right? And then Dad goes, "Hey, I've got a record that you guys put away for me," and it was Taylor Swift. And these 2 little girls just lost their minds. It was the greatest thing ever. Yeah. It was that's cool. The little one just grabbed it and she just like held it, right? Like it was the greatest thing in the world. "Dad, you're blowing my mind." And they're doing this and stuff like that. He totally got them. They totally loved it. And I'm sure they went. And I saw them in the mall later, like 5-10 minutes later. She's still just holding it close to her chest. Like she's just never going to give this thing up. And it was pretty fantastic. It was, I mean, I think we all know the effect that she has. But to see that physically or, actually happen right in front of me was pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah, when somebody gets something like that, like if you watch my Record Store Day video, there's a lady that's literally crying because she got the release of Blur, the band Blur. Mm-hmm. It was, I don't know, special edition. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, the Ziotrope or whatever.
Park Life.
So I look over and she's just in tears. So I let her gather herself before I interviewed her. And she had like the cutest little kid in there. She's like, "You guys didn't have Kid Bop, but I'm going to go see them in concert." It was awesome. But just to see her get so emotional about a freaking piece of plastic is amazing.
Last year,
I had that.
Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I think it was last year. I think it was the Taylor Swift album you guys were talking about. I saw one of my, Facebook like vinyl collector groups. There was a guy who I don't know why he would post this in this group, but he took a picture and he's like, "Oh, here's my Record Store Day haul." and he had like 5 of those Taylor Swift albums, 3 of another one, and then 2 of another one. And I don't think I commented, but the comments that he was getting, I'm like that. There's no way they're not just for you. You're obviously you're flipping these for profit, and it's like you are the problem with the consumerism in the record store day. And but like these tales that you guys are talking about of just the joy of these whether it's a young girl or whether it's Rob, finding a Taylor Swift album and bringing him joy, it's a beautiful thing.
Taylor
right?
Swift brings me joy, believe me.
Yeah, it was fun to see Rob. The whole experience of grabbing that album for Rob and texting him and him getting it, and
it's a good one.
I was happy like that 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, and I'd never shipped a record before. I'm like, Rob, how do I do this? I want it to be perfect. He's like, just do this, cut it open. I'm like, you want me to open it? And he's like, yeah, open it. And blah, blah, blah. So, but he got it, and it was like it. That's
got my record. Cool... John learned how to ship records. It was all good.
I mean,
we all learned. Yeah.
Kumbaya.
No, but I had, that one Taylor Swift 45 that came out about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I got a hold of it, but then I saw all these girls coming out. I'm like. So I had my wife go over, talk to the parents, so I don't look like some creepy, old guy walking up to people. Yeah, and I was like,
"You saved that for your walk and talk videos, right?"
Yeah.
In his windowless van while he's hanging out there, pushing up like Uncle Rico. Yeah.
So we ended up. I had that 45, which sells for I don't know what right now. It's freaking crazy.
100.
Yeah.
Lucky for Taylor, she brought that album out on Record Store Day or close to it, eh? Because I don't know if she would have sold any.
Yeah, they had something for her. She didn't obviously. I don't think she had a record store special release.
No,
I don't think. But there was a manuscript letter that you could get.
Yeah.
And then wasn't there?
That was.
I think there was 4 different versions, and they each had a different bonus track on them as well.
There's
a standard version, and then there's a few other things. So
yeah,
and then Pearl Jams came out Friday as well, right?
Now I like the new Pearl Jam. I haven't liked Pearl Jam in a while, but I like this one.
I like the album, guys. Did you listen to the vinyl though, John?
This is when we need Jason Arsenault here, the big Pearl Jam fan. But Jay's working tonight, but I'm sure he'd have things to say about it.
No, I mean. Yeah,
the Record Store Day one.
So my wife got that variant. I just got the 10 Club. Finally came to me. Like you would think if you're part of the band's fan club, you would get it on the day of release. Nope, I got it on Wednesday. But regardless, no, I got the they had different regional variants. So I picked up the Midwest variant, Chicago variant, and I had heard people talking about it that it sounded compressed and whatever. So I listened to it over the weekend, and yeah, sure as shit. I mean,
really.
It sounds okay. I'm just gonna say it sounds like the album, and I streamed it first, so I know the difference, right? Like I know what the bass should sound like. I know the guitars on the title track should really rip, right? And when I listened to it, as soon as I think it was the second song, it has a heavy bass line, Resist, or I think I forget the name of it. I could tell that, because and here's why, right? One disc. They should have done the 240. They should have not even the 245, just 233 would have been fine. They just needed that space to spread it out sonically, and they've done that. They've been back issuing. They just did Versus Anniversary 245. I think Gigaton was two discs. Trying to think, what was the one before it? Backspace. Point being, like I think they understand to make it sound the best, it needs to be 2 discs. Why they didn't do this, and they did do the 40 variants or how many? I don't even know how many. 9. That one's a head scratcher because it should sound good. It's probably their best rocking album in years, and unfortunately, you put the vinyl on, and it's just okay. That was kind of a bummer.
What's the length of the album? Do you know?
That's a good question, Chris. Let's look it up.
Well, he's waiting on it. I'm gonna answer Trevor's question there. He wants to know what I think of the bonus tracks on Taylor's album. I
Did you get all 4, Rob?
What's that?
Did you buy all 4 records, or what did you do?
I pre-ordered one, and it still has not arrived yet.
Okay.
I won't do all 4 because it's what, for the people that want to have all the different variants, knock yourself out. I wish I had that much money that sure, why not? But no, that I have more music to buy that I don't need 4 versions of the album. So I bought 1 version. but I think the variant thing's it's a cash grab. I don't know whether that's her or her label. She certainly doesn't need the money, but no. I don't know. I mean, I don't like the idea. If you want to do different variants, fine, different color, different cover, but to put a different track listing on all of them,
that's a new level to that.
That's an extra.
That bothers me because I'm a completist, right? Like I want to own. If it's an artist I really love, be it the Beatles or whoever, I want to own everything. And it kind of pissed me off if I was someone that wasn't going to get those songs some other way, if they weren't available some other way, I would have had to buy that record 4 times, and that's a bit of a pisser. I don't really like that. But then what she did at 2:00 in the morning is she announced, well, it's actually a double album, and you can digitally get another 15 songs, and 4 of those were those bonus tracks. And my beef about that, if it's going to be a double album, then the whole thing needs to be released as a double album on physical format, not just digitally. So you can get the first half on vinyl, but the second half is only, streaming and download. That bugged me more than anything else. And lastly, in case anyone cares, do I like the album? I do. However, it is Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights all over again. I don't need to hear it for the 4th time. So I think, like many of the reviews I've read, it's good, but it's tired at this point in time. So
this is the Shark. This is the Shark.
I don't know if she's jumping a shark on. It's a good album, but the problem is we've heard that album 3 times already. So
when that's what and recently, because I was told if you're going to check out Taylor, check out Evermore and what was it, Folklore. Right?
Yeah, they're fantastic.
So I listened to the whole thing, and I'm going to do a video on this, and I was going to put a disclaimer at the front that, okay, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, either turn it off now or whatever. But this new album came out, so I went ahead and listened to the whole thing also. So it did change my perspective on her a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of this music sounds the same to me.
Yes, it does.
Now it's, like Bob Dylan, right? How many songs does he have where it's verse, 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 no bridge, no chorus? And I think she's kind of going that route, but she's not Bob Dylan, but there's something to it. But I think it's one of those albums somebody put, can something be too long? Yeah. I think if you take that double album, reduce it to one album, I think she would have had an album that I might have actually bought. But there's so much extra stuff on there. You're just like,
too much. It's bloated and it's repetitive. Yeah. Like I said, we've heard the album 3 times already, 3 previous incarnations, as far as I'm concerned.
But where's she going to go? I don't know where she can go from here. She doesn't. I don't know. You have like anger or energy in there. Sometimes it's all flowery a lot,
So before I jump on that one, so Chris, it's 48 minutes. So 48 minutes of music on the Pearl Jam. And like Richard S. is saying, I mean, $40 for one disc. Even
which is about $60 here.
Well, and then the record store day was $10 on top of it, ballpark. So $50 for a one discer. It's a nice gatefold. It's a matte finish. Like the packaging's nice, but crazy. No, what I was gonna say about the Taylor is, didn't a guy from the National, a different guy from the National, produce this one, Rob?
No, it's the same one, Aaron Dessner.
Okay, so same guy. So then that kind of makes sense that it's the same type of vibe.
It's the same 2 co-writers she's used, Aaron Dessner and the weird guy. What's his name?
The weird guy, Bleachers guy, Jack Antoff.
It's the same. It's the same 2 collaborators for the last 4 albums.
So then that would, to me, make sense as an outsider from the Swiftie gang. But she never heard of Rick Rubin, and she never heard of this hot guy Andrew Watt, who's working with the Stones and stuff. Like,
yeah, I'd like to see her strip it down a little bit.
Yeah,
I would too, but we're not talking about music anymore.
Children's show, John. This is a children's show.
Yeah, more. What I mean by that,
we need to save that for Alex's After Dark if he was here.
Is more, more acoustic.
I'm all for that.
More acoustic, because I thought Folklore and Everlong was going to be that. I thought it was, going to be acoustic instruments stripped down, but she had a lot of, drum beats and all that in there. I was like,
But so the one that you picked up for me last year, the Long Pond Studio Sessions, is exactly that. It's her doing Folklore live off the floor acoustically, and it's incredible.
Of course, I send the one Taylor album I'd probably like to Canada. That's what I do.
Well, I love you for it, man. Appreciate it.
The one that's like $200. My wife got that one last record store day, and she was quick to remind, because this record store day, she's like, "Oh, didn't Taylor's new album come out for record store day?" And I was like, "No, came out the day before." Blah blah. She's like, "Well, I'd like to get a copy." I'm like, "You do that." And she's like, "Because the last one I got on record store day is now worth $200." And I'm like, "Really? I hadn't looked it up." So she's like in her Discogs. I'm like, "Wow, good for you!" Like, I'm really training a stone cold killer over here. Like,
yeah.
I wish it was $200. It's a lot more than that up here these days.
Well, I was gonna say, the Canadian,
that's about 500 up here. So
good grief!
I feel like I should be paying John a second time or a third time. Didn't say I'm going to. I'm just saying I feel
I'm not going to, but I should.
No, it's much cooler getting it in the hands of somebody that wants it. I mean, that's what we do, right? I mean, it's like you giving me the Attila album or the Hassles album. That's what it's about.
That's exactly what it's about. Yep, I agree with
you.
So Chance, we're saying that Pearl Jam album's 48 minutes. That's not that much. I feel like it should still sound pretty good on one disc, shouldn't?
Yeah, because it's what is it, 12 songs? I know it's at least 5 on each side. Let's see, it's a running time.
There's 11 songs.
So 11 songs. So call it 5 and 6, 6 and 5. Yeah, I'd be very curious why the mastering is like this.
I mean, you're usually limited to 22 minutes per side on vinyl.
So you're right there. I mean,
if you're getting it pressed, it's 22 minutes. If it's lathe cut, it's 20.
Yeah, I've heard right around 22, 23, something like that. So
I only know that because I'm in the midst of getting a record pressed with my buddy right now. So I'm the logistics guy for all of that. So
look at this guy. I like it.
I think we still owe Curtis Young LP lovers the digital download of Blake's album, because when we were doing our YouTube talk, or YouTube talk. Good Lord, say that fast a couple of times.
Right.
So
we need Curtis's email. I don't have his email address. So Curtis, if you're watching, northernrevolutions@gmail.com. Reach out to me, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's still watching, because why would anyone leave before this is over? I mean,
exactly. I mean, there's still an hour and 8 minutes of hat wearing fun to go, right? Chris, did you notice when you came in the title of the show tonight, by the way?
I did, yeah, that's interesting. Rob, how'd you know I wasn't going to wear a hat?
I didn't, but I know you have hair, so...
Chris is taking Sam's place with the thickness and the fullness of the hair.
Yeah, that's why I was slightly late. I was in hair and makeup.
Exactly. Yeah, hey, I don't blame you. I would do it too. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So, Curtis is still here. That's good.
So when's the wedding? Because we're all invited, I think, right?
Right? Yeah, we must be.
I might just live stream it,
Oh, you know what? Actually, I did live stream my wedding. It was back in 2009. We got married at the Flamingo in Las Vegas, and they were live streaming it back then. So don't laugh. You can do it, man. Do it.
There you go. Yeah. Wedding is in September, for September 7th.
Awesome. That's good.
Happening quick. Still lots
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Thanks.
And you're excited beyond belief about all the preparations.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, just as soon as you check something off your list, there's like 10 more waiting for you.
It's like Gremlins. You add water and they multiply. It's the same thing with wedding planning. Is you check off one. You got the DJ. Nope. Now you got to get the DJ and the meal, and you got to pay the deposit. And
Oh yeah.
I heard something cool today earlier that you guys might be interested in. Brand new Johnny Cash music in June, I think. Stuff that he recorded a while ago. Hour back from like the Black Keys is on there playing guitar and stuff, because it was a Nashville session or whatever, but I believe it's all new music. I read something somewhere, and there's a single out already. I didn't go and listen to it yet, but there's a single out. So I'm a Johnny Cash fan. So and I assume you guys are all have great taste as well from listening to and watching your channel. So I thought maybe you might be interested, or in case you hadn't heard that. So
is this later Cash? Because I have I'm missing one of the Cash American albums.
Yeah,
is this?
I think
later
it's
Cash?
It might have been around those sessions when and just stuff that they didn't use. I don't have all the facts. I just it just popped into my head that I had heard that earlier today. So that's kind of cool. I'm all for that kind of stuff. When they find enough tracks to put out a good album, if they can put out a good album, why not? Why not?
What was the holdup? Like, where would they unearth these? Like they were lost tapes or something?
Yeah. Again, good story, Joe. All the information. I know there's an album coming, and I know that there's a single out there already. So,
all right. So listen, I'm the technological talent of the presentation. Sounds like so. This is being put out by Universal. It's called Songwriter. It looks like an old photo of him, probably I'm going to say 70s, 80s Johnny photo, and it says the description. So there's 14 songs. Oh no, is this on one disc? Well, he wrote tight songs, but $50 is what I'm seeing for this variant with lithograph. It says Johnny Cash recorded an album's worth of self-penned songs in 1993 and then promptly forgot when he signed with American Recordings Albums and reestablished himself as one of the world's best songwriters to a new generation of fans. Songwriter, this album, 11 songs have been updated by his son John Carter and longtime producer David Ferguson. This deluxe LP, one disc, features smoke-colored standard weight vinyl, tip-on jacket, and lithograph, limited to 4 per customer. And of course, vinyl color may vary slightly from the mock-up.
Yeah, so no. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, somebody else who did sort of this weird thing recently was Sheryl Crow when she put her album out. She has that great song. I think it's a 9-track album. Puts that freaking song out with Peter Gabriel, which is awesome, Digging in the Dirt. But she doesn't put it on the vinyl. But you can get the deluxe version, which is 1 extra track, digital. That's how you get it.
So let me ask John, because you and I are both Sheryl Crow fans. You've got the new album, yes?
Yeah.
What do you think of it? I just picked it up. I actually picked it up the day after Record Store Day when the wife and I went.
I love that album. It's great. I think it's the best thing she's done since probably 100 Miles from Memphis.
Really?
Yeah, before. Wow. Yeah, I love the crap out of that album.
That is not the opinion that I have.
No? Okay, let's hear it. Let's do it.
Hold up that oven mitt, Chance.
Oh, you need to take us off the screen and go one-on-one showdown style.
Let's see if you can change my mind.
How about a pot holder? I'll give you a pot holder. Pot holder.
Listen, you put that up on the Concert Buddy merch store. There'll be some money flying your way, my friend.
He's going to put a sticker over that says Northern Revolution.
No, I'll leave it just the way it is.
Duct tape on it. Yeah.
I was going to wear my Concert Buddy shirt tonight, but it's in the laundry. So.
Oh, that's probably where it needs to be.
No, man. That thing that's in the regular T-shirt rotation.
Oh, beautiful.
I was excited about the Sheryl Crow album because I'm a Sheryl Crow fan. And I absolutely love half of it. And the other half sucks.
Okay. Right down the middle or just spread out?
No. So I have the deluxe version digitally and it's got the regular gold vinyl. Peter Gabriel song, hate it.
Oh my God.
Hate it. Worst song on the album.
That's the one I was like, I wish they had that on the album to make it complete.
No, wow. I'm so glad it's not on the vinyl because I hate it. There are, and it's still. I've gone through I think 4 times in the last 2 days, so I'm still not 100% on every single track. But I don't know which one's which necessarily. But there's 3 or 4 songs to me that are too poppy, and it feels like to me she's trying to sound younger, and it just doesn't sound like Sheryl Crow. And there are other songs, like the one that really struck me was Do It Again. That sounds like vintage, like Tuesday Night Music Club Sheryl Crow. There are some of those that are fantastic, right? And some of them it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? So I love half of it and hate half of it.
What did you think about the song Evolution, the title track?
It was okay. Okay.
So yeah, we can see where we're like so varied. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Rob, we've just been name called by this channel, Beef and Vinyl. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Beef and Vinyl. Who is this Beef?
Vinyl Beef. Yeah, look at this guy.
Yeah. That's what I love about this, because it's I like play that album. I have a bunch in now that I have to listen to, but yeah, I just kept listening to it, going, wow, I just haven't had this Cheryl in a while, because it felt like Cheryl from Tuesday Night all the way through 100 Miles to Memphis.
Oh, I didn't think I thought half of it sounded like that, but
yeah, that's the cool thing about this. Yeah, some people have good opinions. Some don't.
I thought Alex was traveling or something today, that he couldn't join us. But Alex, if you want to join us, let me know, man. I'll send you the link, because obviously,
do you have good Wi-Fi in the rest stop you're at, Alex?
Well, it looks like he's at either a rest stop or a strip club somewhere. Yeah. It should be whose
boner is this?
Yeah, whose boners are these? You got the boner in the wrong place.
He's at the wrong kind of strip club, I think.
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, so getting back to Sheryl Crow, I mean, I'm glad she put out a new record, because the last one, Threads, was kind of gimmicky because it was all duets and stuff. So I was glad to see her put out a new album. I just kind of wish it. I don't know. What do I know? I mean, I'm not saying I'm right. I mean,
no. It's good to hear different opinions. Like it's interesting how you're like, I love it. And you hear somebody, it's like, I deal with Billy Joel all the time. Love it. Well, I don't know. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So that's the beauty of the VC, different opinions. That's just how it works.
And boners. I
mean,
from our friend.
We're a quarter way through the year, and there hasn't been a whole bunch. There's been enough, I guess, new releases. Has anybody got their front runner for album of the year so far?
No. There's a good one.
I would say the Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards, has been one of the newer for new for me.
Yeah, new. Yeah.
And I would put the Pearl Jam. I wouldn't put the vinyl version of it, but the new Pearl Jam is great. I can't wait to see him do it live.
That's definitely one.
How does that Black Crow stuff compare to the vintage period?
No, I think that's why I like it so much. I think it's a nice callback to Shake Your Money Maker era, Southern Hospitality, like the real wheelhouse of when they were really strong, right? And I think it's only 10 tracks too. You know what I mean? They have a couple ballads on there. I dig it. I dig it mucho. And I like the little fact, I don't know if you guys have seen the album cover, but it's like whitewashed with Happiness Bastards on it. And it's actually, I didn't notice this till I read the Discogs listing. Apparently it's the Southern Hospitality, the brown cover album. That's what's whitewashed.
Southern Harmony.
Southern Harmony Companion or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that album.
It's another one of their albums, whitewashed too, which I didn't.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up too.
Yeah, definitely stream it, because that's how I'm being more intentional with like my new vinyl purchases, and so I stream them first, and I usually get a good read of like, hey, should I pick this up or not? Because again, we've been talking about it, $40-$50 for a new release. I don't have that Northern Revolution's money. I don't have that vinyl store.
Come on now.
We don't have the Canadian money. This is one that I like.
My single dollars.
What is that, John?
Out this year. It's Maggie Rose. Kind of a soulful.
Oh, I've heard the first single off of that. It's phenomenal.
The whole album is good.
Is it that good?
Yeah, I liked it all the way through. I picked it up. So yeah.
Look at this. Look at this comment here. There we go.
Rumors collection for the album. I'll never play.
Someone got the rumors.
That's a real fan right there. Yeah.
It's not meant to be played. It's meant to be displayed. That's what it's supposed to be.
Played, not played. Oh, we did.
We got a new
merch alert.
There you alert. Yeah, displayed, not played.
I'm writing that one down. I'm taking it.
Damn it! I think I said it first.
I don't have my T-shirt store set up yet.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the photo paper rolls. It's
displayed, not played. That's a good one.
I mean, guys, we just did it.
Is there such a thing as a picture disc that sounds good? Does anyone have any that sound good?
Does anybody have the new Pink Floyd one?
No.
Because that's supposed to be done a little different than just the plastic, right? It's supposed to be, I can't remember. Yeah, that one. That one.
Yeah, so they burned it on the top part.
Hear that shrink off of there. God damn.
Okay, you know, I'll open it up right now.
Yeah, rip that shrink off. Throw the
John,
hype sticker in the garbage.
Save the hype sticker. Save the hype sticker, John.
Throw it in the garbage.
I save all my
Do
hypes.
it dirty,
My hypes
John.
go.
Do it dirty.
Okay, so.
Boy, who get that boner talk out of here? Rob is just soft and mouthed right now.
Oh my God.
I can't remember. There's another one that's coming out that is done in the same manner, where it's not plastic and a piece of paper in between like typical picture discs, where it's done like the Pink Floyd. But once again, much like my earlier story, I have no other information than that. But there is another one. So they're starting to find a better way to make picture discs that sound good, and you still get the aesthetic of it.
There you go, John.
It's interesting because it's
grip it.
And it looks like the album's in a container here, like a slip.
Oh, a slip cover.
Yeah, it is.
Don't damage it now that peer pressure, Rob.
There you go. There it is.
Let's do it.
Attaboy.
Living on the edge. Here's my hype stick, though. That's gonna go in this.
Just lost like 50% of its value.
There's no value. Better than
Rob.
So let's see.
I gotta pay Mazzy a quarter now because I said it's all about the music. Stupid.
So yeah, it slips out of this.
Not calling you stupid, Chris. I'm just stealing Mazzy's phrase.
Yeah, so I guess they burned a record like normal on the top on each side, so it's a 2-record set, but it's clear vinyl, so the image comes through the bottom. So you don't.
Yeah, I've seen people show this. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Let's see. Did they do it right? Where's the freaking? There it goes. Hey, it's poly lined. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
So that's.
Hold on. I'm gonna make you big here, John. Hold on.
I think Alex was already doing that.
Yeah. Oh, that deserves a quack.
There you go.
Oh man.
So that looked kind of cool spinning around on there.
Yeah.
So let's see the the other one here. Got to put it away correctly. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. This will be the last Dark Side of the Moon I buy ever again.
I would hope so, because I mean, you want to talk about the album that's been pressed and repressed more than the Starving Kids album?
This is totally just because it just looks cool.
It's vanity. Yeah, it's a cool looking thing. Cool execution for sure.
Yeah, so that would be the part that you see. And then it spins around.
Is that on, John? Is that on Clarity vinyl? Because you have to pay $150 from Acoustic Sounds to get Clarity vinyl.
No comment. All right, cool. So it's a cool looking album. Yeah, that's the only reason I was like, I gotta kind of have that. But
yeah, I do agree. I do agree with our friend Safe and Sound Vaginal Audio Excursion. That is the only way to get that album, and it's not bad for a picture disc. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I've been kind of digging those Zoetrope discs. Like they did the
they're cool. They're cool looking, but yeah, I mean,
you don't buy them for audio quality, but
right.
I mean, if I ever see the Blur Parklife one in the $10 bin, I'll probably pick it up.
Sure, that's about the right price for that.
Well, exactly.
They had the George Harrison for Record Store Day.
There was 2 George Harrison ones, I think. Yeah,
but I don't know.
Ivan's got excellent taste. That's all I'm saying. Excellent taste.
Here's my album of the year so far.
Oh, this is a solid one. Yeah, for sure.
I think it compares. I think it holds its own against, obviously, if you want to compare to their others. But I think it's almost equal to Dookie, and it's almost equal to American Idiot.
I agree.
That whole first side. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. My Dilemma is really good. The initial first track that came out. There's the one that sounds like
American Dream is killing me. Great song.
Yeah.
They got in trouble with that Pink rip off song.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's been proven she ripped it off of somebody else.
Yeah, it goes back a couple generations, and then there's a little bit of the Traveler Iggy Pop in there as well. But still, I like it. I think it's very good. I think it holds its own against their other albums. So
nice.
That'd be up there for my favorite. The other one I really liked too was the album that John Squire did with Liam Gallagher. Great sounding record. Love it.
I haven't heard that one.
I mean, Liam's a bit of a dickhead. And
yeah, I'm not a big Oasis guy. Yeah, I don't have anything by them.
I am, and you know, their solo stuff is hit and miss. I like Noel better, but John Squire record is pretty good because it's just Liam singing. I mean, they're John Squire songs. He wrote them all, and his guitar work is dramatically different than Noel's or whoever plays in Liam's backing band. So it's got a neat sound to it. I'm digging that one too.
I haven't heard it yet. Have any of you guys heard the new Mark Knopfler as of yet? I haven't heard it yet, but I'm a fan, so it's supposed to be
on
okay
the list
as far as I hear.
This is perfect for Dave? Wyoming Dave. Dave, I'm in your house.
Oh my God, Dave! John is in your house. How did you do that? Are you in Wyoming right now? Holy shit!
Hold on.
Are you a sorcerer? You're a wizard, a bloody wizard. Look at this!
Wow, he just teleported from Florida to Wyoming.
Don't open those drawers, John. Don't open those desk drawers.
Dave, the chair's a little. You need a new chair. The chair's not working for me. It blends too much with my shirt. I need like a black or something. You know.
John, weren't you saying there was a weird stain right on the desk right in front of
you? Yeah, it's bad. It's sticky. It's weird. But I want to know, Dave, what did you do?
Alex must have been there already.
all my clothes were back here, Dave, hanging, and they're gone. Do I need to go to the Goodwill, Dave, and find my shirts, Dave? This is all I had left.
You traded them for those dinosaur records.
Oh God. And there's like a mothball smell. I don't know what that is.
No respect. I hope you're doing this right now, Wyoming. I hope you're doing that.
Yeah. Dave, this is love, Dave. This is love.
Dave, I hope you're flipping them the bird.
There is an emoji for that, Dave, if you want to go ahead and go for that.
Exactly.
Ivan, get out of here.
If you want to check out Racer Joe, it's Racer Records, right? That's the name of your channel, Joe?
It is, yeah. Racer Records. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm at 272 subscribers. Go 300.
Look who else is watching. One of my regularly colleagues. So, he's working, so he can't be here tonight. But Jay, we were just talking about Pearl Jam a while ago. I don't know if you heard or not. But...
Boners and Pearl Jam. Where you been, man? Come on.
Boners and Pearl Jam. Typical Wednesday night. Boners and Pearl Jam.
Wednesday's show staple.
Yeah. It's just that. Music Sanctuary, Sunrise Records is a nightmare to deal with. Absolutely. I don't know. What's your Sunrise Records like, Joe? Is it any good?
It's okay. I got a buddy that works there, so that helps a little bit. But so he kind of keeps it. He kind of keeps it organized, keeps it in pretty decent shape. So that helps a little bit. But I don't know. The other bonus about opening up a store is that you can buy yourself from distribution and you can skip that kind of middle part or whatever. So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah.
So I won't have to deal with Sunrise that much anymore. Like I said, there's a great place in town called X-Ray Records as well that does a fantastic job. But here's a question. Not that I need to keep coming up with questions. So when you guys go into a record store, because Sunrise is ABCD alphabetical, pretty well organized. X-Ray Records, it's just out there. If you get a new arrivals bin, that's about the closest you get to anything. So preference, when I go, it's fun to dig, but still I want to go and I want to be able to find. Now you can ask the guy and he knows where it is for the most part, but put them in order for me. Put them in order.
Chris, do you have a Sunrise where you are?
No, I haven't seen a Sunrise Records in a decade.
So we had one here. Sunrise is the only record store chain left in Canada. Okay. And we had one in the town that I live in. And Sunrise just bought the Canadian rights to FYE, For Your Entertainment, which is an American chain.
Yeah.
So some of the Sunrises here are now FYEs, which the one in my town is. And it's in the mall. And I get so I'm going to swear. I get so fucking mad at that store.
Oh God, no!
Oh, my ears! I'm out.
I know.
See you guys.
Hold up,
That's horrible.
Hold up the oven mitt, Chance.
Earmuff.
I gotta put it on my ears. Mommy, make it stop.
That'll be it for the profanity. So here's my beef about this damn FYE. It is in the mall, which is, I mean, that's bad enough to begin with. I hate the mall with a passion. But we go to the mall to go to this. We have a tiny record store downtown, which is great, but it's tiny. You can't go there more than once every 2 months because it's the same stuff. So you got to go to FYE, which unfortunately we did because my wife wanted to grab the new Taylor record. And we went there. The mall opens at 10. We went there at 11, and we're walking into the mall, and the guy's closing the big sliders and putting a note on there saying, I'll be back in 10 minutes. And it pissed me off because I'm not kidding you. The last 5 times I've been to that store at various times throughout the day, every bloody time, back in 10 minutes, back in 15 minutes. And the last time I was there, I get there, he's putting the sign on the door, back in 5 minutes. So I wait. And he comes back after 5 minutes and changes the Post-it note, be back in 45 minutes. And I'm like, dude, what the? Well, I got to have my lunch now. I'm like, it's during mall hours. The damn store should be open. I hate dealing with this, but it's a lack of options. Anyway, Sunrise rant over. I hate Sunrise Records because they suck.
He doesn't know that you're a massive YouTube record influencer.
I don't think he knows how famous I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I have, you know.
Bring a Post-it next time and put, do you know who I am?
Do you know who
on
I
that
am?
door so he can read
There
it.
are tens of people that watch me regularly every week. And, you know, I've got all that Vinyl Storage Solutions money.
Oh, man. Now this is like Daddy Warbucks.
Making it rain.
That's right.
I can maybe make it rain pennies.
Just hold this up there and he'll open the door right away.
No, don't put my sticker. Don't incriminate me in crimes against vinyl. I don't want to be
It's kind of
And while we're on the subject of that, if anybody does need record sleeves, you should check out Vinyl Storage Solutions.
Oh my God.
And use the promo code Northern 10 to get 10% off your order.
Yeah,
or Chance has a promo code. You can
I was just say, if you can't remember how to spell Rob's channel name, just put VCP10. It's easy. It's for the illiterates. VCP10 will save you the same thing.
They had a record store day deal. They had 35% off.
Yeah, I know. They're undermining us brand ambassadors.
They are a little bit. Yeah.
We're out there pounding the pavement. Doing
hang on. I'm gonna flex. Hang on, Rob. Now I gotta flex on you. Hang on a second.
Oh shit.
Go ahead.
Oh
boy.
Rob,
I don't know what he's gonna pull out, but I hope it's not one of those boners.
Rob, your promo code, is there an expiration date on it, or is that just in perpetuity?
In perpetuity, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. It's his retirement plan.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I have tens of dollars of store credit saved up from all the people that have put orders in.
They got a bunch of new ones, actually. They've got blank rice paper ones now. They've got clear inners as well. They've got a bunch. So,
yeah, I need one more person to put in an order so that I could order some box set sleeves and not have to pay for them.
Yeah,
just saying, folks. Yeah,
I wish I could help you. I usually, whenever I order my sleeves, I'll do like a big bulk order, and it'll last me for like 2-3 years.
God, I hope that's his finger.
I hope that's his finger. Either that or Alex is at his house. I don't know.
Oh God!
Last time I was on it was,
guys, I'm sorry. I got real cold in here all of a sudden, Jesus. And
here we go.
Oh, he's got a flex. God damn! You get one of those.
I got a little cold. I'm sorry, my chesticle is really tight right here. Today was chest day, and then I don't
make him big so we can see his nipple there. Let's see what's up.
Guys, it was chest and cheek day, so I got.
What's going down here?
Had to work this out.
That's me, but hey, what does it say? Protection? What?
Hang on. Don't look at the money.
The protection your vinyl
deserves.
Underlined in bold.
Jesus. You get one of these. Frank gets one of those. I get fuck all because I'm not important.
It's just real cold in here, guys. I don't know what else to say other than
Don't buy Vinyl Storage Solutions, everyone, until they send me a hoodie.
I I just bought 2,000 inners and 2,000 outers. So,
did you buy them from Vinyl Storage?
No. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You used my code?
No, he used the holiday special, right?
Well, we're just going to kick Joe off of here then. Joe, how do
I know. I wasn't going to say anything, but I wanted to say they are a very good product. So if you
we were friends.
Make sure to use the promo code. But when you buy 2,000 at a time, you get 35% off. So I don't know.
I would tell anybody, and I've told people before, the holiday sales are where it's at. Like, and if you need them in between, then use our codes and save you a little bit.
And I certainly will. But I have too many VC friends. I couldn't decide on whose code I wanted to use. Are you guys buying that shit or no? No. Yeah, I know.
Hey,
moving on now. Let's talk about something else.
Once you hit that Mile High Club, they send you this guy, and
yeah, I wasn't going to tell him. They sent me a bunny hug. I just don't have it yet.
Oh no, Joe, don't say it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Because the opposite of a good boner is a hate boner, and hang on, here comes Rob. He's putting the speedo on.
I'm gonna go. What the hell's somewhere? What's a hate boner? What the hell's a hate boner? Nobody smacks somebody in the face. Like,
no, listen. A hate boner is some of these people, particularly trolls. And I'm not even going to give this guy the air of day, but there's a guy out there that really don't like me.
Is he still bugging you?
He doesn't bug me directly because I blocked him in his 9 accounts a long time ago. But I'll see him pop up in other channels trolling or loosely alluding to me in some way, shape, or form. And it's just like, man, you're a 66-year-old guy. I've never met you. I'm never going to meet you. And to have such vitriol in your 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom studio apartment in Pennsylvania, bro, you got to get out more. I mean, there's more to life than YouTube, and there's definitely more to life than hating on Concert Buddy. But it literally gives him purpose, I guess. I don't know. So I define that as a hate boner because literally it's the stiffening that. It's the tightening of his pant whenever he sees me on the screen, I guess. I don't know.
I hate you, but I can't control. It's like the Hulk. It's like I can't control it.
It's happening. It's what we call the middle school gym class situation where you're just sitting there one day and you're just like, why is this happening?
Right. Well, those are different reasons. Those are different reasons. Yeah.
You can call that it's degenerated. And where's Alex when you need him? That's all.
Yeah, Alex not even here.
He started this with the boner.
He started it. Yeah, that's true.
He unleashed boner talk. So this is all on Alex.
That's a video idea. Songs about boners. Here we go.
I don't think I'm going to watch that one.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to see the visuals that are going to come up.
No. Yeah. It's pretty creepy. You don't want
to. It's going to start with that sticky.
It was the Mexican
sticky fingers. You're going to start with that
one? Yeah.
God damn.
The Mexican testicle eclipse. That was last time I was on. So
I did actually Google that though.
You found it. Good.
It was a good laugh.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Oh my god. That's great.
Getting too hot in your free hoodie there?
Yeah, it was really it's a very warm, it's a warm garment, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's a warm garment. It's probably because of all those coupon codes I keep getting. I mean, I have to look at my statement balance. There must be a lot after this presentation.
There you go.
Is it for Vinyl Storage Solutions? Is it Mike? Is that's the guy?
So he was the founder, but he's kind of, and Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, if I get this wrong. He's kind of like,
I don't know. I'm not in with them like you are, apparently.
But yeah, he founded it, and he's only involved in like R&D or like design things, but I don't know if that means he sold off. I don't know how he divested his day-to-day involvement, but now there's like a couple gals, and then Jared is usually the guy I deal with in the warehouse.
Because when I made an order with Vinyl Storage Solutions, I remember he had emailed me and said like, oh, based on your region where you are, it requires extra shipping. But he's like, I live in this little small town outside of like a small town. And he was like, but I see your address and I actually grew up in the same town that you live in. So I'm going to give you free shipping on this item. It's like, wow. Like what are the chances? He was like, grew up like down the street.
That's cool.
The one guy you didn't beat up and take his lunch money, Chris. Thank God.
I know where you live, and that's pretty remote. So the fact that you found someone from your neck of the woods, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting.
So Zepp mentioned Motley Crue, also a new album coming out, or a new single. Anyway, gives hands up for those that give a rat's ass about a new Motley Crue single.
Is this with the guy who replaced Mick Mars, the new guitar?
Yeah, it's with John 5. Yeah. So I can't remember what it's called. Again, I know I suck. I'm good at bringing up shit and then not really knowing what the hell I'm talking about. But it is.
Joe, you've had a day and a half to prepare for this.
Yeah,
I did.
Dare I say, Racer Joe's the Cliff Clavin of the vinyl community, where he
that's right.
got the info.
who are three people that have never been in my kitchen. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think it's an album. It's a single though, and it's due to drop, as the kids say, in a couple of days, I think. So, but I could give a rat's ass, I think. I mean, and I'm a Crue fan. I mean, Dr. Feelgood's still one of my favorite albums and the old stuff, but it is just time for them to stop. Just stop.
They already did they hit a huge fan like farewell, didn't they?
Well, but it continues. They're playing Ottawa Blues Fest this year, and they've got some other dates coming up as well. I can't remember where exactly, but Mick.
I don't know if it was just
Mars. Mars obviously is gone, so they've got John 5, who's probably pretty decent to watch. But Nicky just sits there and points all the time while he's still playing his bass, because he's not freaking playing his bass. And Tommy's playing the drums like this, and Vince can't sing, so why go? But people are still going.
Some of that footage I've seen of Vince Neil singing is really, really bad.
Yeah. I know why they're doing it. I'm just not sure why the hell anybody's going. At least before, when it was the stadium tour, you got Def Leppard, who a buddy of mine saw and said was still pretty decent. And you got Poison, which again he said was good, and you got Joan Jett. So you kind of put up with Motley Crue to see the other three that were supposed to be pretty decent. So, but now just to go see them, I'm good.
Here's my issue with that whole scene. One, like Chris said, Vince Neil can't sing for shit anymore, and it's probably been going on a decade since the guy could sing intelligible lyrics.
Yeah.
Two, Mick Mars was like a zombie. He never moved. He played the guitar pretty good for a guy that literally couldn't move, but he's got a medical condition, right? So that's explained. Exactly right on Tommy and Nicky. But they signed that blood oath. Remember, there's a big the pageantry and the theatrics of the last tour. And then they went out and it was like, hey, I'm glad they ended out on their terms. Nikki Sixx had his side project. I forget the name, the 6 a.m.
Yeah,
Tommy's done a couple things. Vince has done. It's like, cool. This is a nice way for them to kind of just wind it down on their term, because a lot of bands don't get to do that. And hell, it was less than 3 years later, they're ripping up the contract. I mean, it's like, you guys have that much back alimony you guys have to pay off? Like, it can't be that bad. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think when you get a lot of money, when someone offers you a lot more money, you just
Yeah, that's the thing is, do you think it's tough for musicians like that? Because you've always got that in your back pocket, that like you could just go out and tour. There's going to be people that are going to pay for it, and you can pay your alimony or your whatever.
I mean, I can only speak as a very famous YouTuber, but can you imagine? I mean, there's got to be some kind of an ego thing or an adrenaline high or whatever, that you're on that stage and there's thousands of people wanting to see you, regardless of how shitty you are. How do you get that high, right? I mean,
but at some point, when does the high get replaced by, oh my God, we're playing to 200 people in a bingo hall like Great White? Right. Remember the big fire? Great White was playing like bingo halls and bowling alleys and stuff like that. And it's like,
they never really reached that peak though. Great White had a couple good songs.
They were never. I mean, Once Bitten Twice Shy never was like on the level of Motley Crue. I get it, but
I mean, the thing is the flip side of that is, so your ego keeps putting you back out there. Doesn't your ego also go, man, I don't want to tarnish my reputation if that's all I've got to live off of? Why? Yeah. All these people thought I was fantastic, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to suck for the end of my career. You know,
right.
money, I guess.
Yeah, and it's similar to, you look at what Billy Joel did. I mean, 30 years before you release a single because you don't think this one's okay. But Elton John constantly putting out albums that suck ass. You know, he could have done the same thing and just toured and toured and toured and probably filled stadiums the same way. But for some reason, he felt like he had to keep putting these albums out that were just, mediocre. I don't know who was buying them.
Maybe he had to scratch the creative itch.
It was bad. It's bad.
Creative boner. I mean, what are you going to do?
Right. Well, there's that quote. Elton's like telling Billy, "Hey, you should put more albums out." He's like, "You should probably put less out. It's probably a good idea."
Can somebody say that to Weezer, please? Like, Weezer is the contemporary band that just can't stop making bad albums. Like, please.
Yeah, if you keep putting these albums out, and I find out with a lot of artists, there's so much just bleh.
I heard that Rivers Cuomo even said that, like, back in the 90s and 2000s, even Weezer just should have been more selective with what they released. Yeah. They just released too much.
They should have stopped at Hash Pipe. That was it.
That was the first album, wasn't it? I think
was it the second?
Third album.
Because Buddy Holly was on the first one. I was like, that was
Blue album, Pinkerton, and then the Green album.
Yeah.
Then the Red album. Then the Make It Believe, the Beverly Hills album with the black cover.
Yeah.
The Motley Crue single is called "Dogs of War" for those that are playing along. And according to Motley Crue, the fans are really going to love it.
Sure, of course they will.
That's quite a thing to say before you drop. Like, what else are you going to say? The fans are going to hate this.
They're going to hate it. It's a pile of dog shit. Please pre-order.
This is a pre-order.
Because they took Vince Neil. I'm reading here. They took Vince Neil off the vocals and put Don Henley in there. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I actually got to see.
But we don't know who's really singing.
I got to see the Crew once about 20 years ago at I was at Live 8. Do you guys remember Live 8?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Like there was the one, and they called it Toronto, but it was actually Barrie, Ontario.
Yeah.
That was the one that I was at, and the Crew was there. And I remember just like this wall, like before Motley Crue played, just this wall of amps that they brought out. But I got to see a lot of really cool acts that day at that festival. It was really cool.
Like, I saw them Carnival of Sins tour, and I saw them a couple other times, but the only one I'll admit to is Carnival of Sins, and it was really good. They could sing, they could play, or they sure as hell seemed like they could, but that's 15, 20 years ago, kind of, kind of like Chris, right? And they brought the motorcycles out for girls, and there was dancers, and there was chicks spinning around, and there was lots of stuff going on, and Tommy was on that end and this end, and he was all over the place, and it was really good. No, it wasn't that tour. It was the one where he had like a little separate drum riser up on the other end of the stadium, and then the last time, or at least on the stadium tour, I think he had the Crucible, right, where it kind of went out like that. But so they were good, and I'm not saying I wasn't a Crew fan. I just think it's time to stop because.
Has anyone heard the audio? Well, I've got two for you. Bon Jovi. I don't know if anyone's seen the videos of the last Bon Jovi tour. I mean,
oh God,
the guy.
He need to stop 20 years ago.
However, but hold on a second. You're right. He sounded horrible, but he's had the vocal surgery. He's been rehabbing his voice for 2 years.
That's right.
He admits it though, too, right?
Okay, all right. But
the difference is he knew he had a problem. He got it looked after. He's put in the work to recover his voice. I'm going into the new album open-minded. I hope it's good. It might suck, but
no.
Bon Jovi. First of all, Bon Jovi, that Richie Sambora is not Bon Jovi.
Fuck that. No, that's bullshit.
Who wrote the good songs?
Well, Sambora did, but Phil X was a 10 times better guitar player.
Yeah,
I'm a cowboy.
Yeah. But no, the other one I was going to throw out is anybody heard Def Leppard lately? Joe Elliott. You want to talk about another one?
It's horrible.
Stop, bro. Stop. Like they need to have like a rock star retirement community where these guys can sing to the staff or whatever they need to do to get it out of their system. But please do not go to the amphitheaters, get the Power Hoosiers who are skipping their trailer park payments so they can come in to see Motley Crue, Leppard, and Bon Jovi. And it doesn't even sound anything like them. It sounds like you wouldn't even have your neighbor try to sing. It's like bad karaoke.
Wouldn't that be the greatest Netflix sitcom, is to have a bunch of aging, washed-up rock stars in a retirement home? I would watch that. Man, that'd be great.
John, write that one down. Put it right next to displayed, not played. We got them.
Yep. Yeah, it's bad when Bob Dylan at 82 is kicking your ass vocally live. It's not a good thing. Because I enjoyed the hell out of Bob Dylan. Yeah.
There's definitely some, and others have decided that it's time to call it quits. But last week, on my I saw those guys. I talked a little about seeing Everclear a couple of weeks ago,
and they were wonderful.
Fine. He didn't sound wonderful. He didn't. Yeah, it was wonderful. Yes, I'll let you go ahead. He didn't sound the same, but he sounded good. An octave lower-ish or something like that. So, there's guys out there that are still trying to get it done that are pretty decent. They're not exactly the same. And then there's guys that just should stop. And what's the where I don't know.
Well, by the way, Joe, that episode you did last week was fantastic.
It was really good. I had good guests.
I had fantastic guests.
Yeah.
The best. No, but we were talking about that Black Crowes album I was talking about earlier. I saw them. They were this lightly touring. They were warming up because they were going to be the opener for the Aerosmith tour that got postponed, pushed to this year. And Chris Robinson, he sounds all right, but he's older, right? So I didn't go in expecting to hear vintage 1993 Chris Robinson smoking the mic, right? But he still sounds good. Like, you work with what you got. But my point is, John Bon Jovi ain't got nothing. And
you don't know that. He had a problem. And maybe he sounds good now. We don't know. We got to hear the new album.
I hope he does. But I've also Vance raises a good one. Axl Rose. I saw them.
Just going to mention that.
There's another one. He picks his spots. Like, he knows he can't do it the full show. He's not, in his 20s or 30s, and you realize that early on. But when he needs to rise to the occasion, he rises to the occasion. But yeah, man.
Here's the comment of the night.
Write it down. We got to write this down.
We got to pitch this to Netflix, guys.
This is, guys, forget the Vinyl Storage Solutions. Richard. We got Netflix gold waiting for us.
That's right.
Yeah, they could perform in the geriatric hall of the Rock of Age. There you go.
The thing that I found last year with Guns was that I thought that Duff filled in a lot more than I remember him filling in and singing before. And then they also had a young lady on keyboards, and she filled in a little bit as well. And there were some songs where Axl sounded great, and there were some songs where Axl sounded like shit still. Unfortunately, they also played 3.5 hours, and if nothing else, man, you got to give the guy credit for just like giving it everything that he had. It wasn't for a lack of trying. There was just some stuff, and whether it was the California desert or because I saw them 3 years ago and he sounded great still. But last year he was a bit off. But he had, like I said, Duff sang a lot more than I remember him singing. The girl on the keyboards did some high stuff, and he still pulled it off. So there's ways.
Were they on time, Joe, or did you have to wait for them to start?
They were late.
They're always late.
They weren't crazy late, but they were late. So and then over. But I didn't care. I was there, so it was okay. Didn't matter. It was Iron Maiden right before him, so. You kind of basked in the afterglow of Iron Maiden and then just waited for Guns to come on. So it was all right.
Yeah. Could you put G&R right there with Motley Crue? Like, hang it up. It's time to hang it up. Are they still you got to bring in other singers?
No, because I think that Slash still held his own. So you go see Slash and you go see Duff.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
They put on a long enough and good enough, and they played every friggin' song, and then a couple that they probably didn't need to. So no, I wouldn't put them in the hang it up quite yet. Compared to, like I said, I would go and see Guns again. I wouldn't go and see Motley Crue.
Well, what about these bands? Like, it made me think, because actually, filled in on the AC/DC tour. These bands that literally have two people left. Like AC/DC has Angus and Brian Johnson now that he's back in the band. what's the other one? The Who, Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey.
How about the Guess Who that Burton Cummings is suing the pants off of because there's nobody left?
They just had they released a statement yesterday due to things beyond our own control. We're not going to be on tour. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I mean, at some point, that's when you really got to hang it up. When there's only 2 dudes left, even if they're the principals, like if all the guys, and let's make the Rolling Stones, if it was just Richards and Jagger, at some point you just it's just a sad. It's like and trust me, Rolling Stones. Last time I saw them year before, and they were great. I mean, 80-year-old Mick Jagger is the man. He can still get out there and rock. His voice obviously isn't as strong as it used to be, but man, that dude can outdance anybody, and he's an hell of an entertainer. But
I saw him back when he was still a kid, back when he was 62 in 2006. He was still a youngin', but AC/DC was still pretty good last year, and I do get what you're saying. But it was still Cliff, so it was Cliff, and it was obviously Stevie, not Malcolm anymore. Right. But it was Brian, and it was Angus, and Brian was pretty darn good. Again, for not singing for how long he hasn't sang, and for them not being together for 7 years, it was a great show. And Phil was just over, hiring people to kill people, I guess, or whatever Phil is doing these days. So,
but to me, that's why it's important for me as a concert goer to see these legacy rock acts. I don't want to catch them on the way down. Like Metallica, I don't want to be at that one Metallica show too many. You know what I mean? Or Pearl Jam. Like I'm seeing Pearl Jam a lot lately because I don't want to be at that one Pearl Jam show too many. You know what I mean? Fleetwood Mac is a good example. So like when they reunited a couple years ago and they had the core 4 or 5. Is it 5? Yeah. They sounded great. And they're all like in the mid 60s, high. And I was like, for me, that was perfect. That was the time because then obviously they fired Lindsay after that and all. And my wife still went because she's a big fan, but I was like, I'm going to sit this one out. I saw them exactly. I feel like I saw them at the right time, the right last good time. And I don't want to, come in and see, Craig Finn and Mike Campbell. I like those guys, but you know what I mean? It's not the same. So that's why I always am trying to see these bands before it's just that one show too many, because there's always one. That's why the Motley Crue thing we were talking about earlier was just like so perfect. If they would sort of just stopped, they went out on their own terms. They still sounded pretty good. They had other things waiting in the wings, and here we are again. And now you've got pig roast Vince Neil and lawsuits, and it's a bad scene.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want to go to and sit in there and go, I just feel bad for these guys.
Right. Yeah, instead of feeling admiration and like, they're so good, feeling like pity and empathy, and then like, man, we paid $200 for this. That's got to be the worst thing.
Bob put on a great show, but my God, when he got up from the piano, he never got up once from the piano the whole show. But when he got up, boy, he held on to that piano and just got to the edge of the piano and gave us a little wave and just kind of barely made it to the back. I was like, it's hard to watch that, because you forget, you kind of put them at a status level. Like these aren't almost human beings at times. And you see them live, you go, yeah, these are kind of real people,
Well, and that's
look at if you've seen any footage of Mellencamp lately, he looks like a homeless bum. And he's the crotchety old guy yelling at people in the audience.
Oh, I loved it. He tore into somebody at that concert. He's like, "Hey, you don't act like that. I don't know. You don't know who I am." Yeah,
but I don't give a shit.
That's always been who that guy is. He's an Indiana Hoosier. That's who he is to his core, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I saw the thing because people are mad he stopped the show early and stuff. Yeah, that kind of sucks for the people who weren't being assholes. But look, man, I
don't think they were being assholes. If you're talking for 20 minutes, shut the fuck up and play some music. That's what people are here for.
He wasn't talking 20 minutes, though.
I don't know.
They don't because he wants to be more of a theatrical appearance now. And I thought it was cool what he did, the way the stage was lit and he showed. There was no opening band, but he showed like 20 minutes before the scheduled time. Yeah, the show's supposed to start at 8, 7:30 or 7:40. They start showing these old movie clips, but they're all music related. And I kind of go, I want to go watch that old movie. And then he timed it perfectly and came out on stage. I thought it was cool. He did a good job with it. But Yeah, no, maybe it's not for everybody.
Do you guys like? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. Just another guy that's supposed to be. I've heard nothing but rave reviews now that he's back on tour. Is Springsteen? Like he's doing Bruce Springsteen shows, like not 1970s Bruce Springsteen shows, but like 80-year-old 3-hour long Bruce Springsteen shows. So
yeah,
I've been devouring all of the footage from all of the shows, and I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'm purposely not wanting to watch anything because I'm going in the fall. Yeah. So I'm trying not to. I mean, I know what I'm going to get anyway, or I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to get, and it'll be fantastic because he is probably the guy that I have listened to the longest that I have never seen live. So from the time I started listening to him, and I haven't seen him, so it's going to be however many years since Born to Run came out or Asbury Park till now. Just never got a chance to see him. So. And I was supposed to last year, but of course he canceled or postponed or whatever. But so, yeah, really looking forward to that in the fall, November. So,
yeah, he's somebody that's.
No, I was just gonna say when you guys see when you see concerts, do you like it when? Because do you like it when the vocalist talks in between songs and little tidbits or whatever, or do you like it when it's just next song, go? Here's the show.
I always like when they talk, right? Because it feels like more of a
intimate experience,
right. And it feels to me more like the performer is invested and connected with the crowd. Where if it's just song after song, to me, anyway, just my opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, but if they're just going song by song, it just to me kind of feels like they're going through the motions, and that I'm no different from the crowd that was there last night and the night before.
I agree with you on the point, Rob, but I'll be honest, when the bands just mow down and just rock and go right to it and get through it, and then they don't do the bullshit of the 20-minute wait for the encore and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
I think I went to a Foo Fighters show once and they did that. And Dave, he would say some stuff during the songs like dance motherfuckers and all this kind of stuff, but literally it was like song after song after song. Rarely took like a water break. They're like, we're not going to do an encore. We just play straight through. I'm like, fuck yes. Like, thank you. Like, let's go away.
He was like, okay, we got 100 more songs to do. I'm going to shut the hell up and let's just start another song.
Play 3 hours of music instead of 2 hours 15 and a bunch of jibber jabber. Like, I do like the jibber jabber sometimes, but some of them you can tell when they're falling. I'd rather hear some of the deep cuts or some of the song, play the hits instead of, last time we were here and in Ottawa, went to this place. No, man, I don't care. Like, cool. Thanks. Yeah. You've been here before. We understand that. Can you play, something else? My opinion.
Yeah. And I noticed the older artists, they'll kind of, even if they need a little bit of a break halfway through, they'll kind of go off, but they let the band continue. So they'll do a little jam or something's going on. And
I like that.
Atmosphere. Yeah.
Because they got to pee.
Yeah, they got to pee.
Exactly,
yeah.
Or go to the line.
Right. That's why you got to wear adult diapers. That's the big thing. You got to wear adult diapers.
Yeah. It depends.
Yeah. You wear it to a concert, you never miss a song. That's what happens.
I like when the singer will talk, but I have seen some shows where they just talk too much, and you're like, okay, like we're ready for the next song. Like we're losing momentum here. Like let's get into it. Give us a little bit of tidbit. I like of like, I wrote this song in the summer of '85 when I fell in love with a girl, etc., whatever, and then it's in. But I've seen them like interact with drunk people in the audience, and sometimes you're like, no,
So instead of doing like a 20-song set, they do 18.
Right.
So they could have done 20, and I would have rather heard the 2 extra songs instead of them like flirting with the little kid in the front row or
I'm completely opposite. I love the story. Like I'm there to see the music, obviously, but if you want to tell me a 3-minute story about how you wrote that song. Awesome.
Well, if it's
interesting, if it's interesting and it's
like the music.
I'll give you an example that Chris could relate to. The last Blue Rodeo show I was at, Greg did a 5-minute story.
All right, John, drink. We were Blue Rodeo.
Drink. Everybody drink. There we go. Yeah. All right. There we go. Drink.
Blue Rodeo.
Greg did a 5-minute.
It's a little
talk about the song Cynthia and what it was all about, and I loved hearing the story. Because I know the story that he told is absolute complete bullshit, and that's not what the song is about. But it was just, because I get,
well, it's different. You got some insider information there.
I do, but it was still, I just was amused by hearing the story, and whether it's them or anyone else, I always love it because you can always hear the song. You don't always get to hear the story. And to me, that's still part of the concert experience.
Yeah, the stories are always great, but then of course there was like the Paul Stanley bullshit where it was like, "Are we having a good time?" Yeah, fuck, Paul, we're having a good time. Yes, we're having a good time, but we'll have a better time if you just sing the goddamn song, man.
Yeah,
I don't.
I would like to see Kiss do that, though. I'd like to see Kiss try to explain some of their lyrics to me. That would be awesome.
What's love done about?
So the reason that we wrote Christine 16 was because we're all pedophiles.
Yeah.
As I look over, hey, look, there's the pedophile right there. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's certain performers I don't have a problem. And a perfect example, I think, is Steve Earle is out on tour and it's just him acoustic. Now, I wouldn't expect him to just go into the next song. I'd be pissed off if he didn't have a little bit of storytelling in between, because that's the show that I would want to see from Steve Earle in that respect. When it's the full band, again, he tells stories. He always tells the one before he plays the Devil's Right Hand about his kid stealing his gun and hiding it and going to military school for a day and then going, okay, here's where the gun is. So, wow. But again, there's other bands and a lot of them are just like, okay, here we go. Let's get on with it. Foo Fighters was a perfect example of that. And they could tell a lot of stories and Dave can tell a good story, but nope, let's just play some music because we got shit to get to. Let's go.
Well, I guess maybe you make a good point. There's, a high energy rock show is a little different than a Bob Dylan concert or something, right? So I guess if it's the Foo Fighters, you don't want to lose that momentum between songs. That's a valid point, I guess.
Yeah, and Tom Petty I saw him twice, and he knew how to talk just enough.
Yes. Music
never stopped. He'd tell you a little story. He'd bullshit a little bit, and especially being in Florida, and we see him, he's a Florida guy, so the energy was so amazing when he was here. But he could tell a quick little story, quick little joke, and boom, right into that song, Oh,
so John, it reminds me. You got this one? Hang on.
I like when they're kind of tuning their guitar and telling a story at the same time too, right? You get a little bit of noodling going on.
Oh, come on!
There you go.
Is that an OG?
I do.
No. It's this. I think it's a 16 reissue. Like the OG came with like some extra stuff, but Amazon, it just popped on Amazon a month ago, and
I've been looking for it since 16.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I might have another copy coming, so keep fingers crossed.
My problem is, though, this is a 2 LP, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure one of these has a big ass scratch on it, though.
Yeah, but
that was the only
one thing I'll give Petty and them credit is like Chris Bellman masters all their stuff, and it's always great on vinyl.
Oh yeah, there's something wrong.
Speaker's Corners here said he saw Steve Earle at Club Denim, which is a very small venue. That would have been a cool show, Jeff. That would have been awesome.
Did you watch George Borden on Sunday? He had a pretty good Steve Earle story.
No, I didn't see that yet.
Yeah, George said he was running the sound for a live radio performance, and he said he went to Steve and said, "Can I get your set list?" He goes, "I don't do that, son. I just play." He's like, "All right." So they go on completely live, and the first song he plays is "Fuck the FCC," like live on the radio. Nice. And George was like, he's like signaling the guys, "Hey, I didn't have it. I don't know." So
one of the times when he was in town here a long time ago, they stole the heroin out of his hotel room. He was so pissed off, he just lost his mind. But
there's what was that? Mike Judge, he does a series and it's on YouTube now where it's animated.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right. Did you see the one with Waylon Jennings where they're sneaking was it heroin into the studio and the Fed showed up?
Tales from the Bus, I think. Isn't it Tales from the Bus? That's what it's called. The first season was those guys, and the second season was funk. So it was like Rick James and Parliament, and it's a great series, actually. It's really good. Awesome. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see Judge do some more of those.
Yeah.
Can I answer Dan's question? Dan's asking about the restaurant record store combo. I think Easy Street Records in Seattle, maybe up here, because they have a little diner and it's a record store, A+, and the food is named after musicians, which I thought was a nice little touch. So you can go and they open early. So it's like the record store technically opens early. So if you're ever in the Seattle area, Easy Street's where it's at.
I know I talked about my store opening up, but it's kind of a store within the store. If I had nothing but money to spend on my own store, half of it would be pinball machines, and then the other half would be the record store. That would be the combination, kind of a barcade with a nice vinyl selection as well. So, but
that'd be cool.
I haven't seen that combination out there, but I'd frequent one of those.
Yeah,
I've often thought, again, if money were no object, I would love a store that is half records and half guitars.
They were kind of doing that at Sam Ash, but now Sam Ash is closing down. But they kind of had a record section at Sam Ash Music.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, it's kind of almost the 2-hour mark. So maybe we just go around the horn. If anyone wants to say a few words about their channel, or if they want to promote something they did recently or something they got coming up, or, tell folks about your channel. Since Chris is the live stream virgin, you want to go first, man?
I've live streamed before, Rob, just never with you.
Well, but isn't that all that matters?
That's all that matters. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. In my world, anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't have much going down the pipeline. I don't know. I don't plan my videos too.
You put out a couple in the last week, though, right?
Yeah, I put out a couple. Actually, the one that I just put out was like spur of the moment. Was just like me, talking about how I felt like I was in a slump and hadn't had any big scores lately, and put it out kind of on a whim, and it's doing pretty well. So getting a lot of comments of people just being like, I've been there, like I've done that. I talked about like I dropped a record, as I was flipping it, and you get so angry at yourself. And so many people are like, oh, I can relate to that. Like that's happened to me before, Just a lesson. Just concentrate. Just pay attention. When you're doing that, flipping a record.
How about the fiance video? Was that her idea, your idea, or was it talking into?
That was my idea. That was something I had to talk her into doing.
Remember that wedding planning they were talking about earlier? This was called an exchange of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
compromise.
She was nervous. She was nervous to go on the channel, and I said, don't worry. Like all the comments, like all the people who watch my channel, they're all really nice, which is true. Like people just are pretty nice. Obviously, you never know who's going to see it and say, but it's all been good. And she wanted to. I remember she's like, can we just film it? Because I usually try to do my videos as much as I can, one take, no cuts, just all the way through. She's like, can we just do a practice first before we record? I was like, no, we gotta just see what happens. And it worked out. It was the first take we did was a good one. I'm like, that's the one we're going to use. And then we did it. So
right
that was nice. Yeah.
I recommend watching it. It's a good episode.
It's a good one.
Chance, what's going on with the podcast, man?
Oh man. New one dropped today. So I talked to UK VCer Harris Pilton. He's a guy I've talked to in the comment section for a while, and always struck me as a good bloke. And he had reached out. It's interesting. Like some people reach out and be like, "Hey man, I really like the podcast. Like if you ever want to like connect on something, I'd be down." And so sometimes that's where the ideas come from. It's like, oh yeah, I'd like to talk to Harris Pilton. Or I just filmed the one with, you guys know the channel Vinyl Rewind. So that's Chris.
Yep.
So yeah, so he's a nice guy. Or Eric. Yeah, super nice guy. And I was, it's to send out an email and be like, hey man, I enjoy what you do on your channel. Watch it for a minute. Mind talking? Yeah, So that'll be coming out. Trying to think. When it comes to videos, though, I wouldn't say stalled, but I don't. And Rob, you and I have talked about this. Like, I don't want to make videos just for the sake of making videos. And so, like, I got into that routine about got to put some out every week. And now, like, I don't do it. Like, I've skipped a couple weeks this year already, only because I'm like, what am I? Show and tell. Yeah, like I'm still picking up records, but like I want to feel like the videos I'm making are quality, not right. If that makes sense. So if that means I don't have oh, thank you, Marsha, I appreciate that. If that means I don't put a video out for like a week or two, like I'm okay with it. But so
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, perfect example, Record Store Day. I already did 2 live streams, 2 videos on Record Store Day. So somebody in the comments, nice guy, was like, where are we going to show your haul? And I thought about it, and I may still do it like as a little video, but I'm like, everyone else has already
your
done
Record Store Day out by now.
Yeah. And I'm like, how many times does people want to hear me talk about, like the Gandalf, or, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, and that's what I mean. Like, yeah, I could do it, but then I just feel like I'm punching a clock. Like, okay, everyone else did it, and more power to them. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, like, for me, it's like I've already mined that well enough. Like, I'm ready to move past Record Store Day, and I don't mind talking about live streams, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to show what I got. Plus, when people see the Pauly Shore record, the John's thing, they may unsubscribe, so I don't want to run into that. So.
I'm waiting to see it. I mean, I'm gonna create like 50 extra channels just to sub to your channel for the Pauly Shore video. That's my plan. Because if
you listen, make 17 extra accounts, and if you make them all subscribe to me, then I appreciate it.
Now here's a good one. Just keep it in mind. Do a back-to-back, Macho Man, Pauly Shore, head-to-head. Which one wins? That's what I'm waiting for right there.
See, that's a tough one because, the Pauly Shore was very unique in the sense that it was Pauly and a bunch of it was Pauly Shore and the Crusties. And come to find out, the Crusties were a bunch of middle-aged, like, dudes or older dudes, old guys. And they sounded pretty tight, for what it was. But it's definitely, as I've told people, it's a vanity thing. It was just like, okay, I'm there. It was either that or that Joe Pesci thing. And I'm like, I know that Joe Pesci's really going to be bad. At least the Pauly Shore might have some kind of music redemption if they're doing like Whole Lot of Love. Like, there are some okay covers on there. But yeah, Macho Man was such a bummer because that's the one I camped out for last year. And literally, literally camped out, talking about the numbers, 1,000, 1,800 stores. One of my stores had it. I'm like, the only way I'm guaranteed to get it is I got to line up 11 o'clock the night before, and they open at 10 the next morning. And I got it. Happy me. Yay. Then 2 months later, 3 months later, back by popular demand, and that pissed me off when they repressed. And they didn't just repress it; they repressed it in the same exact color, so it wasn't even.
Oh, they did. Oh,
to Record Store Day. So I was like,
that's insult to injury.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, that's some messed up stuff. So it was it was a drag. But yeah, to your point, John, like I like those things, and again, I think in the spirit of Record Store Day, like, do I need the Pauly Shore disc? No. Do I 95% of the time only want to bring in like stuff I'll listen to in the collection? Yes. But that 5% can slide based on like recommendations, sight unseen, that kind of stuff. So, and again, I played the Pauly Shore like the other day, and like I said, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard. So plus who am I going to sell it to? You know what I mean? There's the other thing. Like, okay, I've listened to it. Who's looking to buy the Pauly Shore? You said Kingfish still has the copy. So it's just one of those things. It was like $20 that, it's just for fun.
Yeah, it's no Attila. I mean, it's no Attila or Hassel.
Look for a fortune on eBay.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you got going on? What's new? What's coming? Other than your record store that is in the works?
Yeah, well, that's taken up a lot of time. Still trying to do the Vinyl Fast 5 thing because there's a little bit of a core group of people that watch it. So if they're going to watch and they're going to play along, I'm going to keep doing that. Haven't done a lot of other videos as of late. I know there's a few things out there that I might give a shot. Still doing the Tuesday night, not every week, but probably every couple of weeks. The hey, I saw those guys talking about concerts. I still need John. I still want you to come on so we can talk about Billy Joel. And guys, you're all welcome because I think we've all seen lots of shows. So, that's really been about it. And just trying to get this store up and running and looking forward to it. And
I heard you just recorded an episode for the Vinyl Community Podcast.
I was going to say, and hanging out with you. Yeah, it's pretty decent, actually. It turned out pretty well. We talked.
I don't know when the host is going to throw that one up.
The host is going to throw it out in May. Actually, I can tell you because I've already talking about those interviews and all that stuff. Let me tell you. I'll tell you right now.
All right.
Pull it up. I mean, this is again exclusive to this presentation.
Oh, I better get the ducks ready. Hold on.
Get some ducks.
Get the sound effects, Rob, because I've got the schedule. I've already mapped it out for the next 3 weeks. And your episode will air on May 6th. May 6th. So write it down. If you need to call off of work, if you need to, you burn a sick day, May 6th. I think it's a Monday.
If you need us to write a note to your bosses, just email us and we'll write you a note excusing you from work.
Yeah. Official. It'll look official and everything.
I know it'll carry a lot of weight with your supervisors or whomever.
100%.
So
yeah. So that's what I got going on.
Nice. John's probably going to walk around and talk about some stuff.
Yeah, I might just start taking my shirt off for those episodes.
Oh, finally.
I knew it. You know, you have to wait. God. You know, you have to. You know, you got to wait for the demand to be strong enough.
Supply and demand. I mean, you've got the supply. You just got to wait for the demand to catch up.
I already have the pasties figured out, though. I got this going. So
there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I need to send you another one. Is that what you're?
I need another one, or we're going to have a problem. I'm going to get arrested.
Understood.
That's going to be the problem. I'm going to do each week. I do the what's new at the record store. Do that. And then
actually, Rob, I can help you out with this question since I've got the queue up, or maybe I can't. Hang on, I can find the other pod with our friend Racer Joe. Hang on, sorry, John. I didn't mean to interrupt you, John. Sorry.
No, I thought you had breaking news. I was waiting for the.
Oh no! I mean, unless you want to re-listen to the Gordon Lightfoot pod. I mean, I've got that one right there.
I mean, that's a good one.
It is a good one. I think this was the one, wasn't it? Box sets, yes. So this one was the box set one.
Oh shit, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, so this, Joe's a returner, and the date of that one.
That was only like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That was March 6th. Yeah.
Jeez, I forget what I did a week ago. So,
no kidding.
Stupid me. God dang. God dang. John, did you do your Taylor video yet? And I just missed it, or is it not up yet?
No, I'm kind of glad I waited because I listened to the
new one,
the new album. So it kind of gave me a new perspective.
I'm curious on your take, being not I have demographic and not a idiot like me.
I have very deep thoughts. I thought deep, and there's going to be Dylan references and everything. So
oh shit.
That's coming up. But the one that's coming first is I did the first 3 albums of Neil Diamond. I'm like, nobody talks about Neil Diamond. So I did listen to those 3 albums and kind of ranked them a little bit, but talked about them. Because, it's Neil Diamond's like a guy I always kind of listened to, but I never listened to his albums besides a few. So
I saw him live and he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a great performer. So I'm glad I listened to these first 3 albums, and it's interesting. There's some history in there that I didn't know about. How he kind of reused songs and redid albums, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But Neil will be out, and then I just do my weekly what's new at the record store. So keeping busy.
John,
back, Chance, you can see right here. But vinyl storage solution.
Yeah.
Hold it. Yeah.
John, do you ever have you gotten hate mail from the Mike Esposito acolytes who may say that the Kingfish videos are direct ripoffs? Because Mike has a big following, and I would hate for any kind of trolls or rude people to start throwing spears your guys' way, because you guys are just doing your own thing. But those Espo fans, that is a wild bunch, and they will fight for your right to Mike all day.
I want to say there's some spies, because I feel like I've seen some of the things that I've used showing up in this Mike Esposito video stuff.
Finally, it's about time we out this guy for the content thief that he is. Thank you.
This is going to be the new MoFi gate. It's going to be the
right back at you, Mike.
Yeah, record store gate. That's it. At you, mother trucker. That's right.
Finally, Esposito's getting what he deserves. It's about time.
That's right. Somebody actually had the nerve to bring up his name during my record store day video. I watched that guy.
No. See, the sickness is real. Look what he's done to these people.
And that's what you call good editing, because it never made the final cut. That was
as it shouldn't have, because you don't want to get YouTube to shut it down, because
that's it. Actually, I think it's in there. Oh,
well. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. Thank all of you for joining me tonight while my regular compadres are off doing things more important than YouTube. So thanks for taking time for me, guys. It was a pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you. Good to finally meet you, Chris. You should do this more. Come up with these Canadians. If you got to stick with your wolf pack of Canadians, these guys pretty good pack. And Rob's not too bad. He wears a lot of Axe body spray, but you can never tell through the live stream.
You got to cover up the swalls and the swass. You know what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Nice. Thanks for having me, guys. That was great.
Well, that was great, guys. That'll do it. Thanks, everybody. Please subscribe to Concert Buddy, Eraser Joe, Music Talk with John, and Stylus Meets Vinyl. And if you're watching this, you're probably already subscribed to me. So thank you very much. I'll be back next week with the regular crew. I think Alex might still be away for work, but most of the regular crew will be here next week. So thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.
Later.
Ciao.
See ya.
Bye.